ISCA after I'd been in the service for a long time. I'd been in iRacing for well over a decade and spent most of my time in NASCAR series, a lot of fixed racing for the most part, and really just got to a point in my iRacing career where I really wanted to get involved in open setup racing versus fixed, partially because I was just looking for a little higher level of competition, you know, maybe a little cleaner driving and maybe get away from some of the challenges that go along with fixed racing on the service. And it took me a while as I was really searching out leagues because I kind of had a very specific thing I was looking for. A, I wanted to be an established league. You know, B, I just really wanted clean, quality drivers to be racing around. And once I found the ISCA, I found out really quick that it was going to check all those boxes, and I've been with the ISCA ever since. I think the things I like the most about the ISCA is it's a developmental league, but it's also a league that's got some veteran drivers. And I think really what I was looking to do was try to surround myself with some people to better my talent, my skill, and my craft. And that's one thing the ISCA has really delivered. It's got great quality drivers. You learn how to race in close quarters around some of these other people. And I think the other thing, when you do look at the developmental side, you know, once I joined the ISCA, my I rating has soared, my safety rating is better than it's ever been. And it's also really great to see drivers that join our league, you know, really excel over time, some of which stay with the league and some that maybe move on to some bigger things, which is really exciting. We have a great history of developing drivers. We have a great alumni list. But I just really enjoy, you know, participating in the league and just continue to get better each week that goes by. Yeah, the competition in the ISCA is awesome. I think a lot of us talk about it, you know, each week of just how blessed we are to have such a high level of driving capabilities and just a quality group of drivers overall. And I think that's just still, I think the thing I like the most about the ISCA. You build a lot of friendships, a lot of camaraderie. You know, we're really competitive on Thursday and Saturday nights, but it's really fun also after the race to kind of review the race start to finish. And we do a lot of coaching about what's working, what's not working. Not saying we give away all of our secrets, but I think anyone that joins it, there's a common theme. A, you know, they get better each week, their I rating goes up. We see them in strength of field races over time, you know, week in, week out. And that's just something that's really fun. Even though we compete, we really appreciate the league we participate in. And I think in most cases, we're highly competitive with some of the best and cleanest drivers on the service. And if you like long green flag runs, you know, we don't have a lot of cautions in our races. We tend to have green flag pit stops. But those are just some things that I really enjoy about the league the most, is the quality of the competition, the lack of cautions, and just the long runs that really leads to some really awesome racing. Yeah, I think people that should join the ISCA are people like myself. When I go back a few years ago and I was really looking to up my game and get involved in open setup league racing, you know, for so long I just wasn't involved in that because I just didn't, well, A, I didn't seek it out, but I really didn't also know how to get started. And once I started doing research, it was a really easy choice that the ICA was a place I really wanted to be and get involved with. And all those things I talked about earlier have happened to me, you know, from improving I rating, improving my skill. And, you know, I'm someone that I really enjoy the ICA. I'll probably stay there, but don't think that, you know, if you're coming to the ICA that it's something long-term. That in some cases you can find a long-term home like a lot of us, but we develop drivers, and ultimately we'd like to see our drivers participate for a period of time and hopefully move their way up the ranks, whether that be into Road to Pro or Contender Series, or hopefully get to the Coke Series. That's really the goal of what we want to be, as an established league with great drivers, but also a league that's going to develop drivers into bigger and better things.
Hello and welcome, everyone, to the ISCA Thursday Cup Series as we present the Charles Shaw 250 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Of course, this is going to be the conclusion of the Cup Series season, as, of course, we're going to get right up into the next season as well. Of course, we are just a couple races into the Super Cup season, but I tell you what, there is a championship on the line here tonight. Kenny Powell definitely has a uphill battle in order to get there, considering Josh Schaffner not going to be here tonight. He is at the top of the board, but this is definitely going to be very exciting. Of course, I've talked to Kenny Powell a little bit here this week, and he's been having some bad luck. Of course, hopefully he does not have the bad luck here tonight in this race. Of course, my name is Brian Britton. I'm joining the booth by none other than Big Al. How you doing, Big Al?
Doing awesome, Brian, here. Excited, waiting to get this Vegas race started as we are back in the city right here of Las Vegas, man. I think it's going to be a pretty exciting race.
Yeah, I think it definitely will be a very exciting race. This track acting a lot like Auto Club did. Tire saving is going to be a huge deal here tonight at Vegas. Of course, you can run flat out for a few laps, but you're not going to want to do that for very long. But definitely tire saving is going to be the big deal. Let's go ahead and go over some of the race facts for tonight's race. Taking a look at it, of course, 250 miles, 167 laps on the docket here tonight. Stages are 35 and 75. 4 sets of tires down in the actual pits there. Fuel window 58. So these guys can go quite a long ways on one tank of fuel. They will definitely still have to make that pit stop, green flag stop at that final stage. We'll have to see how that kind of goes. We've definitely seen our fair share of cautions last week. Hopefully not the same tonight here, Big Al, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, definitely. But, it's one of those things. We have a pretty big field here tonight, Brian. So I'm not opposed to a couple cautions. I mean, I think we could definitely we could trade in a couple of green flag pit stops for maybe a couple cautions.
Yeah, definitely. We still always look for those green flag pit stops. That's where all the strategy calls are made, and we'll definitely have to see how these guys stack up. But you're right, there is a pretty sizable field out there, even though it is Road to Pro night as well. They're at Vegas, and a lot of the guys that usually run in this Thursday series, like a Derek Heitman or Matt DeCiani, not going to be here tonight, as well as Josh Schaffner. Of course, Schaffner not participating in Road to Pro. We believe he's got some type of personal issue going on, but he is going to be praying and hoping that Kenny Powell is not able to get a win here tonight. I talked to Kenny a little bit more. Like he said, like he's had bad luck, Big Al, but he has to. He knows what the game plan is for tonight. He has to finish at least, I think, 5th in both of the stages and 5th in the actual race in order to make up the points that he needs right now. Let's take a quick look at those points. Pulling them up right now. Of course, Schaffner out in the lead. Derek Heitman and DeCiani, the two that are missing this race because of Road to Pro, they could have had a shot to get a championship here tonight if they had showed up. But I understand that, Road to Pro is quite a priority. A lot of guys want to go for that Pro Series. But Kenny Powell, the man we're going to be watching here, he's 4th in the points, 27 back from Josh Schaffner. He's the only one that is in spitting distance of taking this championship from Schaffner here. You see Greg Wyszynski, of course, he's 5th place in the points. I don't think he's going to be able to make up enough points. He'd have to have, I think, a near perfect race. I don't even think that would be enough. We'd have to wait and see, though, to do the math. Of course, Don Avery in 6th place in the points. He has not been here for quite a little bit of a time. Hopefully we'll see him back soon to start the next Cup Series season. Mark Sanchez, of course, sitting 7th. Darren Mullins in 8th. Randy Mullins 9th. And Al Kozlowski in 10th. Now, the points for those guys definitely could change back there, but none of those guys will be going for the title. So what do you think the odds are, though, Big Al? I mean, I said what Kenny has to do. Do you think he's capable?
Here's the thing, Brian, and I'm gonna be very direct about this, but I don't think that Vegas is not a track that people would bet on. I don't even think people bet or gamble in this city. So for you to ask me what the odds are,
they don't.
I don't even know where I would go to look for that here as far as overs or anything like that. But
yeah, because gambling's illegal in Vegas for sure. Yeah. But as you can see, qualifying is taking place at the moment, as these guys are definitely trying to get their track position. Track position is kind of important at this place as well. I mean, from what I heard guys talk about, though, it's all going to be about tire saving. If you can save those tires for about 20 laps, then the car is going to come to you, and you'll be able to work your way to the front. So some guys that are always about running it hard early, they're not going to do as well here tonight, Big Al.
Anybody in particular you got in mind?
No, I'm not saying anything. There's a few drivers, I think, but I mean, then again, you never know. We've seen quite the, I'd say, turnaround for some drivers last week. I mean, able to save a lot of tire that I didn't expect. Ryan Strunk is one. I mean, he was actually really, really good last week. So I'm expecting to see that from him tonight as well. We'll have to wait and see. Of course, we have a whole huge cast of characters going to be making their way out here. Of course, we got some new drivers that did show up here last week, and just glad to see these new drivers. But let's go ahead and take that step away, play our national anthem, and we'll be right back with your starting grid.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Race fans, it is time for those most famous words in motorsports.
Remember what I told all my drivers? Reach up there and pull those belts tight one more time. Drivers, start your engines!
Hey everybody, my name is Warren Maddox. I am the president of Ultimate Experience Outdoors. Our mission, we are dedicated to taking veterans, first responders, youth, and Gold Star family members on outdoor excursions across the country.
Support for our mission has many forms, from camp cooks to the great storytellers, some buddies with the band, maybe you just want to build a campfire and sit around and listen. Nothing goes unnoticed.
Camaraderie is reborn. The acceptance among the men and women that took an oath.
Whether it was decades ago or recently renewed, but never forgotten.
If you feel like you could help us, please visit our website, www.uxonation.org.
There, you can register to hunt, sign up to sponsor an event, or even donate to us so we can continue to execute our mission.
Oh my gosh, I feel comfortable, bro. We get a hug. What have you done, Jim?
We need your help to hold the line once again.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We have the grid set for this evening's action. Greg Carr, I do believe, with his first pole here in the ISCA. David Miller going to be starting on the outside pole, with Brandon Pasalacqua starting in third. Chris Johnson's going to be starting in fourth place. Fifth place going to be our championship hope, Kenny Powell. Randy Mullins going to be starting in sixth place. Seventh place going to be Alexander Carr, with eighth place being J.C. Evans. Ninth place going to be Mark Sanchez. Ryan Strunk rounding out the top 10. And, of course, 11th place, Corey Saucier.
Then that's going to put Dave Hughes Jr. going to be in 12th with Al Koslowski in 13th. Darren Mullins in 14th. Scott Nashland is going to be in 15th. Greg Wachinski, 16th. 17th shows Brian Johnson, 18th. Jose Acosta, 19th to Shane Parrish. No, I'm sorry, 20th to Shane Parrish. 21st is Paul Olson, and 22nd is going to be Derek Jacobs.
Definitely going to be an exciting one here for sure as we get everybody starting to roll, everybody getting excited. I'm definitely hyped up to see how this race is going to go, who's going to have the best long-run potential. It's what it's all going to be about, and I think we're getting ready to see some awesome racing here, Big Al.
Yeah, absolutely, and I do stand corrected. Apparently there is gambling that goes on in Vegas. Who knew?
Yeah, I think you see South Point on the billboard there. I think it's a casino, isn't it?
Yeah, wow.
I think they even have a casino at this racetrack.
Well, I'll tell you what, one thing we're not gambling on, and that is the probability of this thing going clean and green. These guys are definitely going to be putting on a show here, Brian, with a large field, like 22 cars. We've been seeing the attendance up on Thursday nights, which is actually really good. Lights off on the pace car, getting ready to take himself out of the equation, and we're getting ready to be going green flag racing here pretty soon.
Yeah, I've been noticing a little bit of a blinking issue there from Randy Mullins and Chris Johnson. Hopefully that does not persist as we see the pace car getting ready to take that left turn down pit road, and we're going to be getting this thing underway for the Charles Shaw 250. Hope you got your glass of wine, because this is going to be one you're going to need one here, ladies and gentlemen. And there it is, the green flag out for the first time as Greg Carr leads us there. Brandon Pasalacqua bump drafting the 25 into the corner, or on the straightaway here.
Yeah, I'm telling you, the 99 of Chris Johnson was definitely trying to give Dave Miller everything he could to get going. 2 by 2 we go here as we are now officially underway.
Pasalacqua already trying to see if he can't get this lead away. We've definitely seen the dirty air play a big factor, or a big role, I should say, at this racetrack. I know one guy that's going to be definitely walking on the eggshells is probably going to be Kenny Powell, not wanting to get any damage. Of course, these guys do not have fast repairs.
The 2 turns they're going to have to watch tonight, Brian. That's going to be 1 and 4.
Yeah, definitely. Look at how close to the wall Ryan Strunk is running right now as he sits in 7th. Huge run on the exit. This is another track that you can utilize that top side to great effect, but it burns the tires up just a little bit prematurely if you're not careful.
Yeah, and speaking of that here, that ambient air temperature, 65 degrees, 73 degrees with a track temp, winds out of the northwest at 5 miles an hour. Time in Sims 2:50 in the afternoon, Brian, and we're sitting under partly cloudy skies.
That we are. Greg Carr is starting to pull away a little bit. He's got about almost 0.4 of a second on Brandon Pasalacqua. As Pasalacqua is being pressured by the 25 of David Miller.
Greg Carr, the 21 of David Miller.
Yeah, that's sorry. My fault. That was actually up. You're right. The 21 of David Miller pressuring the 6 of Brandon Pasalacqua. And you see a heavy battle going on right now, I do believe, for 4th, 5th, and 6th. These guys are almost verging on 3 wide.
Yeah, absolutely, because Ryan Strunk is definitely trying to take advantage of that high run. Now, Chris Johnson's going to go ahead and go higher behind him. I think right now, tires are just now coming into their own. Drivers will be trying to find their own individual groove here, Brian, though. But I think green flag 2x2 race is what we're going to probably see here for most of the evening.
Alexander Carr right now up into the top 5. He sits 5th right now as he tries to get underneath Chris Johnson. I think this is probably the most competitive we've seen at 18 in his ISCA career thus far, as he gets a good run on the bottom here, side by side for that, I do believe, 5th place position. So also, you see Kenny Powell and Randy Mullins also battling it out behind them.
Yeah, Alex Carr there with the team Birdie Racing Definitely good to see those guys get here, get situated within the ISCA.
Yeah, of course, Greg Carr still in the lead. He's got about a half a second lead right now. So you see Chris Johnson now battling with Randy Mullins. Mullins, of course, didn't exactly have the week I think he wanted to last week, but I expect that he's going to come on strong here in this race as he tries to get underneath the 18. Randy Mullins looking really strong in that 54 right now.
Yeah, seems to have his blinking problem under control here, Brian. And like you said, drivers just got to conserve. They got to save their tires. This is a racetrack where you want to be fast in the long run.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of guys that are going to sacrifice here early. Let guys go. I mean, you see Kenny Powell letting Al Kozlowski go there. He doesn't want to battle right now. He knows he needs to still be here at the end of this stage. And a lot of these guys that are up here, they'll get passed back in about 10 or 15 laps.
Yeah, Kenny Powell there has Darren Mullins and then also Corey Saucier.
Yeah, I was looking to see who the 90 car is. I think that might be Corey Saucier there. If I'm not mistaken, there's a little bit of a confusion there, but love that paint scheme. Love the American flag on the front of that thing. You see Darren Mullins battling side by side with Kenny Powell. The 9 of J.C. Evans trying to get underneath Al Kozlowski.
Kozlowski definitely running pretty good here now, up to 7th place here, started back in 13th. That's going to make him our second biggest mover, but the biggest story that we're going to be telling is the 77 of Brian Strunk running that Lawson line. Brian started all the way back in 10th, now finds himself totally snugged in second, so way to go there, Ryan Strunk.
Yeah, he's definitely running some really good laps right now. He's been very much committed to running on the higher side of the racetrack, which I'm curious to watch him to see how this affects the 77. We've seen him time and time again to where he'll be really, really fast in these earlier portions of the run, but then it starts to fall off from him. Is that going to be the case here? Does that top line burn him up a lot more than the bottom? I mean, it seems like intuition, or should I say, a lot of these guys know that the bottom line runs not quicker, but it's better on the tires. But then again, the top side, you don't have to turn near as much.
Well, Strunk's been running that Larson line. I mean, that's what the Larson line, he's been doing that here for the last couple of races. But another thing to note, Brian, he is the only driver out of the field of 22 that has a lap to sub 30 as well. So not only does he have the fastest lap, but he's the only driver to sub 30.
Yeah, he definitely is putting it to these guys. Also, Al Kozlowski has worked his way up into the top 5. Sits 5th right now, right behind, I do believe, Randy Mullins there. So great job to that 88 as he starts to move up the track a little bit, trying to get a run. And now you talk about guys hitting the, a certain lap, like he's the only one doing that. Well, that's not necessarily a good thing, I'd say, at a track like this. I don't know if I want to be the fastest lap. That means I'm probably burning my stuff up more than everybody else.
And that's going to be the tail of the tape. That's what we're going to be watching. But, we always say in that first stage, that's kind of what we want the driver to do. I want my driver to go out there and push the envelope. I want them to be able to come back and let me know what adjustments we need to make on the car. Is it a hot rod? Is it tight in the corners? Is it pushing up? These are the things I want to know. And I'm not going to be able to, it's a lot easier to get that data here in the first stage, and you'll have 2 additional stages to kind of correct that and possibly get a paycheck.
Yeah, 100%. Put it through its paces. Try to get as much, data as you possibly can. We'll have to see how that works out for him. I mean, Ryan Strunk still running some good laps, but last time by, Brandon Pasalacqua, 3rd place, was running a bit faster than him, a little bit under 10th, I should say. As we see also Mark Sanchez, I do believe, trying to work on some drivers back here. As he is actually trying to go side by side, I do believe, with the 71 of Dave Feud, who we haven't talked about yet tonight. 15 laps into this thing, though, I saw a little bit of smoke as guys, I think, are starting to reach that part of the run where their tires are starting to wear.
Yeah, absolutely, Brian. And you were saying that you said it best. The key to this thing is conservation. You really got to take it easy through that first 20 laps, and then you'll have a car that might be capable of going fast and even making up positions. And Kenny Powell is doing just that. Now he's starting to get the run a little bit here. Now he moves his position from being in 10th place up to 9th. When we watching Powell, because, hey, there's a championship on the line, and it looks like he is the only one that showed up to fight for it tonight.
Yeah, he definitely is. I mean, it would definitely be an unfortunate set of circumstances for Josh Schaffner to not be here and still win the championship. So Kenny Powell definitely does not want that to happen. He has to get as many stage points as he can. So it's a fine line that he's having to walk right now, Big Al, considering he has to get a title here. He has to get good stage points. If he doesn't, then he's not going to be able to snag the championship away from him. So, you're kind of danged if you do, danged if you don't. You save your tires to see if you can't come back later. Well, does he have that option? I mean, I think he's still trying to use that. We'll have to wait and see if he's able to get closer to the front as this stage progresses.
Yeah, absolutely. Plenty of racing left to go, Brian. Not really time to start throwing the baby and the bathwater out. I mean, I think we're going to figure this one out here before it's over, man. But just like that, Ryan Strunk starting to slide backwards a little bit. He went from being in second place all the way back to fourth place, and I don't think he's done slipping just yet.
100%. I mean, if I was his crew, I would be telling him, hey, this is the data we got. It's time to, maybe change up the strategy next time around.
Oh, big trouble right there on the racetrack. Looks like Brian Johnson has definitely got into it with the 71 of Dave Hughes Jr. You had just said that we hadn't been speaking his name, but we are now, not necessarily in a positive light. Caution still didn't come out.
Take a look back at the replay here as you see Few comes up off the outside wall and just takes the 4 with him. Huge contact on the inside wall there. Could be a broken toe link possibly.
Yeah, both of those two gentlemen recipients of the repairs required flag. So meatball flags for them, not going to be fun. Like I said, caution did not come out. Green flag racing continues, and that just adds a little bit of insult to injury.
And look at that, though. Look at that. Even before the accident actually happened, they touched in the middle of the corner, and that's what sent the 71 higher up the racetrack and into that outside wall. So that's kind of interesting there. You saw the 4 was diving in under the 71. The 71 kind of came down a little bit in the center of the corner, and then just a little nudge is all it took to put him up into the outside wall.
Well, yeah, it doesn't take much when you're running in speeds excess of 175, 180 miles an hour, Brian.
Not at all. That is going to be some big implications there. Of course, maybe not for championship implications, but it will be implications for the Super Cup Series points for sure.
Look at that diamond formation that we got going right here. Kenny Powell definitely going to have to figure something out. I don't know if he wants to be exactly where he's at. He's running in 7th place, but he's on the verge of going 3 wide right here, Brian. He's got Darren Mullins right beside him. He's got David Miller beside him, and he's also got J.C. Evans. So we're going to be watching to see how this plays out, but it could definitely get a little sporty.
Oh, it is definitely getting sporty. They were able to hold that 3 wide. I think they're getting ready to go 3 wide once again as Kenny Powell all the way to the top of the track. Going to try to exit above. Oh, a little bit of contact with the wall there for Powell.
Yeah, Powell definitely makes contact with that outside retaining wall. And, and he is definitely trying to get his legs stretched out. He's trying to get around these guys because he understands exactly that he needs to be in 5th or better. Just getting caught up in traffic right there, not very fortunate for him. But if you look right out the windshield, you'll see the 77 of Ryan Strunk. And he is definitely going to come into play here, Brian, as we almost will be at just 10 laps to go. Right now we're like 12 laps to go here in this stage.
Yeah, and of course, Ryan Strunk, definitely another position that Kenny Powell's going to want to get here, but he's definitely trying to struggle to get around Darren Mullins here. Now, he definitely wants to get this pass completed before they get up to that 77. It looks like he's got it done. Kenny Powell up to 5th now. Brandon Pasolaco, of course, your leader. Carr has lost the lead. He's about 6/10 back from Pasolaco.
Yeah,
and here comes Powell.
Yeah, and that gap is actually getting bigger. I think he's actually burned his stuff up. Powell makes contact with Ryan Strunk.
And now he's going to try to see if he can't get to the bottom of the racetrack. And I think he might have it. Oh, a little bit of a loose condition for Powell. He's able to save it.
Pedal.
And that is going to put him under fire from all the drivers that are right there behind him into the Hornet's Nest. Kenny Powell goes back in as we're verging on 10 laps to go.
And he's been running a little bit higher, so having to bend that thing down on the bottom like that just caused that car to not actually be in a favorable way. But hey, he pedaled his way through it, so we'll call him pedaling Kenny Powell.
Yeah, definitely great job to Kenny Powell to be able to hold on to that. Oh, contact the wall from Ryan Strunk. That almost went badly, as I do believe the 64 had to take some evasive actions.
Yeah, Strunk he's trying to pick rubber up off the racetrack, Brian. That's how bad his tire situation is right now.
Yeah, 100%. Definitely going to be having to go back to the drawing board, and all the guys behind him got to be feeling some sense of anxiety right now as you see David Miller tries to get underneath the 77.
Well, we're still racing. I mean, we still got a lot of racing to go. Brandon Pasalacqua is definitely extending his legs and his lead. So I'll be feeling pretty good about that. But also look back. Way back in the rear there, Al Keselowski has fallen considerably off the pace, Brian.
Yeah, he definitely has. Of course, tire wear, a significant factor, I'm assuming, in that, as these guys are going to be definitely trying to make as many adjustments as they can here. The guys are fighting tooth and nail for every position they can get. They got to be starting to get a little bit frustrated, and we're not even, a sliver of this race completed yet. But Pasalacqua definitely looking like the early favorite at the moment. But, of course, conditions on the racetrack will change. He has the best car right now. Will it stay that way?
Yeah, Powell definitely is on a run as he is slowly reeling in a Randy Mullins. Mullins started this thing in 6th place. Powell starting in 5th.
Yeah, so definitely Powell up one position. He sits 4th at the moment. And he's looking really good. I mean, he caught up to Randy Mullins. I'm surprised after that big loose condition. Usually when you get loose like that, you slide the tires. It really burns them up, heats them up a little bit too much. But I think that Powell knows how to get the heat back out of them, as he is even working on possibly getting up into 3rd here.
I'm going to make a prediction. The 99 and the 77 are probably not going to be exchanging Christmas gifts or Valentine's Day cards.
It does look like Chris Johnson, though, has gotten clear of Ryan Strunk. Now goes side by side with Darren Mullins. David Miller up to now 5th place. But I don't know how long Miller's going to be there, because I'll tell you that. Chris Johnson looking quick. Oh, contact with the wall there. Huge from Darren Mullins. That could have knocked the wheels out of alignment there, as here comes Chris Johnson to the inside of the 21. 3 wide in this pack, some parts. And now 5 laps to go here in stage number 1.
Powell's made it all the way up, clear with the gear. He's up in 3rd place.
And look at that, Chris Johnson now up into 5th, takes the spot from the 21. Ryan Strunk so loose off these corners.
Jose Acosta just made a little bit of contact.
And you mentioned it before. You talked about it a little bit before, Big Al, when we were watching Kenny Powell, and he was running the top side for the most part. When you're running up there a lot and you drop down to the bottom, it is such a different set of circumstances that these guys are having to deal with. You have to bend it down there, and I think that's what Ryan Strunk's dealing with right now. He was running the top for so long that now he's having a hard time running down there.
Well, he's just having a hard time running anywhere right now, man. I mean, he's running on flip-flops.
Definitely is. I wouldn't be surprised to see that those tires blow. We have seen a little bit of that this week. Greg Wachinski's been making some big moves. He has now entered the top 10. Going to be some good points there for him. Of course, he is, I do believe, 5th in the points at the moment. He's 85, I do believe, back from Josh Schaffner, so no opportunity for him to be able to get up into the championship. But still, it's not from lack of trying. He's definitely out here trying to get as many positions as he can here in that 5 machine. But look at Pasalacqua go. Over 2 seconds is his lead. Huge battling. I mean, I'd love to watch up there towards the lead, but these guys are putting on the show back here in the mid-pack.
Yeah, absolutely, Ryan.
You see Mark Sanchez now going side by side with Ryan Strunk. You see Jose Acosta. You mentioned him a little bit earlier. He's in the mix.
But look at the lead that Pasalacqua has.
Yeah, it's definitely large lead right now. I'm telling you, he's looking like the best car at the moment. Kenny Powell, though, I think if you give him a good shake at it, I think he might be able to get up there and battle. 3 wide. Oh, this is a scary scenario right here. As Ryan Strunk definitely not wanting anybody to get by him here. And who can blame him? 10th place points. You want to keep those. If he loses another spot, he's going to be outside of the points. As you see, Sanchez is going to make the pass.
Yeah, but here comes Jose Acosta, and yeah, that's hot sauce.
100%. And here we go. Brandon Pasalacqua crossing the line for lap 36. Next, we got to wait for the 10th place car to cross the line, and caution will be out. And there it is. Brandon Pasalacqua with your stage 1 win. Greg Carr, your pole sitter, finishes in 2nd place. Kenny Powell finishes in 3rd. 4th place, Chris Johnson. 5th place, Randy Mullins. 6th place, David Miller. 7th, Scott Naslin. 8th place, Greg Wachinski. 9th, Darren Mullins. And 10th, Mark Sanchez. Great job there to Brandon Pasalacqua. Definitely looking very, very good. I'll tell you, he's probably saying nothing but nice things to his crew about how that car's handling. But with that, we'll go ahead and take a break, and we'll step away. We'll be right back, and we'll hopefully be able to talk to Mr. Pasalacqua.
Hey everybody, my name is Warren Maddox. I am the president of Ultimate Experience Outdoors. Our mission, we are dedicated to taking veterans, first responders, youth, and Gold Star family members on outdoor excursions across the country.
Support for our mission has many forms. From camp cooks to the great storytellers, some buddies with the band, maybe you just want to build a campfire and sit around and listen. Nothing goes unnoticed.
Camaraderie is reborn. The acceptance among the men and women that took an oath.
Whether it was decades ago or recently renewed, but never forgotten.
If you feel like you could help us, please visit our website, www.uxonation.org.
Or there, you can register to hunt, sign up to sponsor an event, or even donate to us so we can continue to execute our mission.
Oh my gosh, I'm so close, bro. We get a hug, man. What have you done, Jim?
We need your help to hold the line once again.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. You see, as the race off of pit road is taking place right before your very eyes, and Pasalacqua able to win that race off pit road. Kenny Powell able to jump over, I do believe, Randy Mullins, that takes over 2nd. Chris Johnson comes out in 3rd. What a move there for Johnson, able to jump a lot of spots there. Of course, I do believe we are going to be able to be joined in the booth by Brandon Pasalacqua. Do we got him, Big Al?
Hey,
Yep.
guys. What's going on?
And there he is. Welcome to the booth, Brandon. I know we don't get a lot of chances to talk to you up here. Great job out there on the racetrack. How's that car feeling? It seems like you've probably been telling the crew chief that, man, they did a heck of a job putting that thing together.
Yeah, we have a hot rod underneath us tonight. I don't have anything for these guys in the short run. Greg, Ryan, and them were really quick. Randy Mullins as well. So I have a car that's good, 30 to 40 laps into the run. So there's going to be some guys in the back of the pack that has good long run pace. So we're just going to try to manage as best we can.
Well, you definitely seem like you're putting together a good show here tonight. What could the car do better? Is it perfect, you think?
Right now it's good, but I'm also in clean air and I'm not battling a lot of people. So the goal for me was to try to stay out front and get some clean air and manage my tires that way. I did a lot of A-Open races this week, and being back in the pack, you're running slower pace, but you're kind of using up your stuff too, battling other people. So what we're going to do is try to keep this 6 Chevy Camaro up front all day and see what happens.
100%. Now, I know you got Kenny Powell going to be starting right beside you here on this next restart. He's going for a championship. Are you going to take it easy on him, or are you going to race him just as hard as you race everybody?
That's a fellow teammate there, but I'm going to race him just as hard as everybody else, but I'll make sure I take care of him. It looks like he's got a better long-run car than I do. I saw him catch me towards the end there, so I'm sure we might be playing a little cat-and-mouse game here, so we'll see.
100%. Well, great job on your Stage 1 victory. Who can we give a shout-out to after the big accomplishment here?
Yeah, definitely. I want to give a shout out to the guys at G&G. I appreciate them welcoming me to the team. It means a lot. They're a lot of fun, and it's a pleasure to learn from them all. And then obviously you guys up in the booth, you guys do a hell of a job, so I appreciate what you guys do.
All right, Brandon, thanks for your time, buddy, and good luck in the rest of the race. You definitely seem like you got the best car out there. We're definitely rooting for you.
I appreciate it, Al. Take care.
Alrighty, that was Pasalakwa. Definitely awesome job. And I am not Al. I'm Brian. You hear that, Big Al?
Hey, absolutely, man. And look, all I can say is just like, imitation is the greatest form of flattery. Lights off on the pace car. Time to double them up. We're going to be getting this thing back to going here, man. And then look, we're in Vegas. This is awesome. You know, remember what goes on in Vegas stays in Vegas. So maybe you can be Big Al in Vegas.
Maybe. I don't know if what happens here tonight is going to just stay here, though. I have a feeling that this is going to have some implications for probably the Super Cup season, you know, because we've seen it time and time again, especially as of late. There's been a lot of beef out there on the racetrack. But Brandon Pasalakwa going to be leading us here to green as we get ready to start stage number 2. Of course, this one I do believe goes to lap 35 or 45.
75.
I do apologize. Yeah, 75. I appreciate the correction there, Big Al. Yeah, definitely going to be a little bit longer than what I said. Otherwise, we'd be done in the next 5 laps, right?
Yeah. Be a short run.
You never know. I know recently we've seen some cautions break out in the stage number 2. I mean, that is kind of something we've seen a little bit lately, isn't it?
Yeah, we have actually been seeing that. And this stage is going to be just a little bit longer than the last. Pace cars down and away.
And here we go. Green flag is going to be waving once again here in the ISCA. And Brandon Pasalakwa takes us there. Kenny Powell, not as great of a start. He's going to be able to give a lane here to Chris Johnson. Johnson definitely going to be able to try to surge ahead. Chris Johnson's definitely been showing some really good speed tonight as well.
But don't forget, though, now we're just starting out on cold tires as well. So it took Powell a while to get warmed up, but I wouldn't be surprised if you don't see him kind of slide back a little bit, because the key is he can't get caught up in the hype. He has to continue to run his own race, and he knows exactly how fast he needs to be turning these lap times in order to be consistent and get that, maybe that second place or even a stage win here, Brian.
Yeah, a stage win would go a long way for Kenny Powell's hopes for a championship. I think he's been having bad luck all week in the A Opens, but hopefully he's been saving up that luck for tonight's race. As he sits in third, of course, Greg Carr, our pole sitter, quite a ways outside of the top 10 now. Looks like he didn't have the best pit stop, as here comes Randy Mullins to the inside of the 24.
Well, looking at the amount of time that he spent down pit road, either he was, I think he was making adjustments, because he had one full solid second in the box longer than the average. Jose Acosta finding himself caught up here in the melee, and just like you said, Greg Carr, he is right there dealing with Darren Mullins and Jose, and right behind them looks like it's going to be Shane Parrish.
Yeah, that's the thing about it. You know, if you're trying to maybe do some, changes to the race car, that second is so valuable. He went from, I do believe, being second place out there and all the way back into, right now, I do believe 11th place, or 12th place, I should say. So that second's a lot. I mean, is it worth it to make that adjustment if you're going to lose that much track position?
Yeah, but who cares? Because the key is going to be save tires. So maybe at the end of this stage, he is in the front of this thing instead of trending backwards. So right now, Brandon Pasalakwa, like you were saying, he was really struggling on that short end speed. So now he is really having to deal with Randy Mullins. Randy Mullins is literally all over him right now. And the key is to right now, he's going to have to, he has just lost the lead, right?
But he has lost the lead before. Of course, I think he might be able to get it back. But my whole thing about, like you said, it's all about saving tires. But I don't know if I'd want to be in this pack. I mean, just considering how they were racing earlier, saving tires don't really help you when you got them 3 wide and ahead of you.
I don't know. You just gotta keep your head on the swivel, man, and just kind of walk through there with the lightness of a mouse, I guess.
100%. You got to be somewhat like a
nimble.
You got to be nimble, be able to dodge, almost like Bruce Lee. You got to be like water, right?
Yeah, very well said.
Ryan Strunk on the way back to the front once again. We'll see how far he makes it up. as he is back up onto the top side. He's running a little bit lower than he did previously. I think he's about to learn his lesson a little bit, run more towards the middle groove. As he now goes side by side with Wyszynski, really close to those guys, almost turned each other there.
Yeah, Strunk is doing exactly what he did the last stage. Now, look at how comfortable he is running on that high line. The key, if he can figure out a way to keep the heat out of those tires, maybe, and kind of blend his style, getting a little bit lower there earlier, I think maybe.
I mean, you even heard Brandon Passalacqua in his interview. He was scared of the short run. He knows that these guys are better than him on the short run. He even mentioned Ryan Strunk by name. And, you know, if these guys had a 10-lap or a 15-lap shootout to the end, Strunk is up there in the mix. Taking a look through the cockpit camera here as he follows behind David Miller. But I think Strunk is pacing himself a lot more than he did in that first run.
Yeah, I mean, I think he learned a lot in that first run, you know, just how hard to push it, and I don't think he's pushing it anywhere near as hard as he was during the first stage.
Well, here comes Brandon Passalacqua back to the lead. He slides up underneath the 54, is able to get clear here. As Kenny Powell also getting his run back in. Kenny Powell got his groove back as he's all over the back end of the 99 of Chris Johnson.
Yeah, Brandon said, I think right now, he's kind of warmed up. And remember, he had really stretched his lead out a lot there that last stage. So I would not be surprised to see him duplicate that here again in this stage, right?
Really interested to see that. You see Brandon Passalacqua had Randy Mullins all over his rear end, and he dropped down on the straightaway and kind of took a narrow entry. This is actually a track where narrow entry really rewards you because there are bumps on this racetrack, especially in 1 and 2. So a lot of guys, especially in 1 and 2, are going to dip a little bit lower on the entry so they can avoid that bump. A little bit of a blinking issue there from Randy Mullins. I also want to talk about Scott Naslin. Look at him up in the top 10, sitting 7th right now. He's another new driver to the series as he's being followed right behind Greg Wyszynski. Of course, Mark Sanchez tries to go to the bottom here. But here comes Mullins back to the lead. What a race for Randy Mullins. He looks like he has got a hot rod as well here tonight.
Yeah, and you know, Mullins has been struggling. He has definitely been trying everything he can this season, man. Just hadn't worked out for him a lot. So here's the hoping tonight things do go out a little bit more in his favor, and at least he can get a solid finish out of this.
Yeah, it looks like he's running more to the middle groove. And I know this is another one of those tracks, just like Auto Club, that as the run goes on, you do want to move up the racetrack a little bit. But, you know, is it too early to do that? And I think that Brandon's like, go ahead, man. If you want to run up there and you want to burn your stuff up, I'll sit here and follow you. And then by the time this stage is over, I'll be past you.
Yeah, I also want to give a shout out to those guys over at Bull Ring Racing. That team consists of the 27 of Derek Jacobs, John Mullins in the 54, and Randy Mullins in the 64. So, hey, look, those team points right there are really going to help those guys out a lot of it too, Brian.
Yeah, they definitely are. And I know that recently we started keeping track of those team points. I know we're waiting to see if we can't get that added to our overlay here so we can actually put those up on the screen for everybody to be able to view that. But I mean, I love that they're trying. You know, ISCA is definitely putting forth a lot of effort to promote these teams, to show that, you know, they're putting in a lot of work. It's not just, I know a lot of people think it's just all G&G, but no, there's a lot of teams out here that are just as competitive as they are. I mean, you see Randy Mullins right now. I mean, I do believe he's on the same team with Bull Ring, right?
Yes.
Well, here comes Passalacqua to the inside. Neck and neck for the lead here. A little bit of a blink there from the 54. You see Chris Johnson, Kenny Powell, and Ryan Strunk all watching I'm seeing a whole different. I know we talk about Strunk a lot in this race, but I'm seeing a whole different style of racing here from him since that last stage. Just shows how fluid that he is when it comes to changing his driving style.
Yeah, but he's in Indian country though, so he's got to be cognizant of the fact that he is literally sitting in a G&G Hornet's nest. So everything that he does, he's just got to keep his head on that proverbial swivel. I say that all the time, but he has literally got to be Semper Gumby coming through these times.
Greg Wachinski trying to work on the high side of the 22 of Scott Naslin. Not quite able to get there. I'll tell you, we're seeing a whole lot of guys that were not in this top 10 in the first stage. And here comes Kenny Powell to the outside of Chris Johnson. I think now Kenny Powell has engaged the hyperdrive.
Slingshot engaged.
And here comes Greg Wachinski to the bottom of Scott Naslin.
Oh, Powell got really tight right there. That's going to cost him. Here comes Chris Johnson around the outside along with Ryan Strunk. Right there, he bent it a little bit too tight for himself, Brian, and he had to pedal. He had to be Kenny pedaling Powell again.
Yeah, definitely. He lost that spot to Chris Johnson. Going to be trying to see if he can't recover here. As Ryan Strunk now on the top of him. It just doesn't seem like that 24 handles that good on the bottom when he's side by side with someone.
No, I think his car is a hybrid. It's a mixture of being able to run it on the bottom line and the top line. And look at how Ryan Strunk is forcing him to kind of go down to the bottom.
As they are side by side for second place. This has got to be a good look for Brandon Pasalacqua. He's got to love to see this in his rearview mirror. This means that, hey, these guys are going to have a harder time catching me because it seems like side by side is the antithesis for these race cars.
Yeah, and Powell was actually able to clear Strunk. And see, he wasted no time getting back up to that high line.
Yep, now he's going to try to go side by side with Randy Mullins here. Oh, I think they touched. But I think that Kenny Powell got the better end of the deal as he slides up in front of Mullins. I don't know if Mullins is going to like that too much as he comes up to the back of the 24's back bumper. Definitely going to let him know he was there. As I do believe we have 14 laps to go. Mark it 13 laps to go in the stage.
Now, Brandon Pasalacqua is definitely going to be hoping that Chris Johnson holds Powell up as long as he can, because he did comment that he saw Powell kind of closing that gap on him, indicating that he thought that Powell maybe had a little better long run speed than he does. So, be interested to see how that works out. As the 77 of Strunk now battling side by side with the 22 of Scott Naslin. Naslin started this thing all the way back in 15th place. Now finds himself in the top 10 all the way up to 7th place, Brian.
100%. You also see some head-to-head battling a little bit further back behind them as we see Jose Acosta, I do believe, battling it out with Shane Parrish, who has now made his first appearance in the top 10 for this race. A little bit of issues, I do believe, for someone. I think Chris Johnson just lost it.
That's definitely going to work out for Kenny.
Yeah, definitely will work out for him as he was running on the bottom line. Got a little bit loose there. Only lost, I do believe, a position there. But Greg Wachinski going to be seeing he can't take advantage of it. But I think that Johnson has recovered. As we verge on 10 laps to go here in the stage, Brandon Pasalacqua has been the most dominant driver so far here tonight. But Powell's a coming. And imagine how much more comfortable Powell will be in this final stage if he gets a stage win. You know, just a little bit of extra points just to make it so that mountaintop that he has to climb is just that much shorter, right?
Absolutely. I mean, or, yeah, 98%.
As we saw Jose Acosta trying to battle with the 66 of Shane Parrish, but Parrish not going to be denied. He holds on to ninth as he tries to go underneath Ryan Strunk. Oh, really close there.
Yeah, Strunk's all over the racetrack, man. He is definitely defending every position that he has had thus far.
That he is,
a little
blinking.
blinking issue there for Randy Mullins. That's probably not the time you really want to see that happen. Here comes Jose Acosta, though. He is trying to continue his quest to get to the front.
Yeah, Acosta now up into the middle lane here as we see Randy Mullins get a little bit tight on the bottom here. Almost going to go 3 wide as Shane Parrish, I think, has the lift. I think he thought about taking him 3 wide, but I think a lot of these guys are a lot smarter than that. You know, Auto Club's a whole lot wider of a track than here at Vegas is.
Yeah, but these guys are definitely getting around this track with ease, man. And a lot of good racing going on as Jose Acosta now makes it around the 77 of Ryan Strunk. That's going to put Jose up in the 7th place. Now, he started this thing back in 18th, Brian, so he's got to be feeling pretty good about the run he's having here tonight. And that could culminate in a very solid Super Cup points run for him tonight.
Yeah, and a lot of these guys, they've done moved on from the Cup Series points, wouldn't you say? I mean, a lot of these guys are like, I have no chance. Like, I have no chance. I need to focus on the future. Super Cup is what I'm trying to get after. And you know, that kind of almost puts it at odds with Kenny Powell because, I mean, you know, Powell wanting to get as many points as he can tonight. A lot of these guys don't care about that.
You know, and to the guys that are pursuing a Super Cup, they're going to have Season 2 that's going to be starting up here the next 2 weeks as well. So that'll start a whole nother points chase. So, yeah, plenty of competition out there. It depends on how competitive you want to be.
And what a recovery from Chris Johnson. We saw him get loose, Big Al, and fell back to where he was right there in front of Greg Wyszynski. He has got all that time back, and he's starting to put pressure on Kenny Powell now. As he goes to the inside, going to be side-by-side for 2nd place with 5 laps to go here in the stage.
5 laps to go before Stage 2 is in the books. And Passalacqua, just like that, is really starting to kind of feel himself. And I'm hoping right now he's feeling better than he did at the end of the first stage. Right now, Chris Johnson has just made his way around Kenny Powell. So we're starting to see that pendulum shift just a little bit. Jose Acosta up to 6th place as he has just gained another slot as well.
Yeah, Jose has definitely been on the move here. Just got by David Miller and moves up to 6, just like you mentioned, side by side, though. I do believe Ryan Strunk and Shane Parrish once again. Looks like Parrish almost able to get it cleared. I think he will out of the exit here, but the 77 is going to get the run, and he's going to get to that right rear.
Yeah, he's just going to be right there. I mean, I think he sent in a standing memo that just lets everybody know, look, the 77, look, this is from me to you. I'm going to be right here, like, all night. Just get used to it.
100%, you know.
These are getting really close together.
Yeah, side draft definitely a big deal in these race cars as well. So, I mean, if he could just keep that nose right on that right rear, he's going to keep him right there. Oh, really close together there.
Yeah, I love how he's just squeezing these guys down, you know. And that's got to be somewhat kind of intentional.
It's got to be somewhat annoying for the other drivers out there. It's fun for us to watch, but I'm sure that 66 is probably like, what the heck, man?
Well, I think he got the memo, though.
100%. And I've been noticing as well that not a lot of guys have been utilizing that apron on the front stretch here, which I think is indicative of how much that wears the tires out even more. Greg Carr, though, been making some big moves. Look at him. I mean, he started on the pole. He fell back off of that pit stop. He's now back inside the top 10. Scott Naslin up into 5th right now. What a run for the 22. As here we go, passing for the lead. Chris Johnson is trying to take it away from the 6. As we are on the white flag lap for stage number 2. Can Chris Johnson get it done? And it looks like he does get the pass completed. Will he be able to hold on to it? We might have us a new stage winner here. As we got to wait for, of course, the 10th place car of Greg Carr to cross the line. Or Shane Parrish. They keep switching that position back and forth. But there is the caution flag, and Chris Johnson wins stage number 2. What a run for the 99. I mean, we saw him get loose and able to save it and pedaled it and got back up by Kenny Powell and even drove his way up to Passalacqua. I mean, what a statement that was from the 99.
Yeah, he's definitely got to be feeling pretty good about his performance there. Chris D. Johnson, your Stage 2 winner. Brandon Pasalakwa in P2, Kenny Powell third. Greg Wachinski comes across in fourth. Scott Naslin in fifth. Jose Acosta sixth. David Miller in seventh. Ryan Strunk in eighth. Greg Card ninth. And Shane Parrish rounds out those top 10 point span positions. With that in Stage 2 in the books, we're going to take a step away. Get a word from our sponsors, and we'll be back. And I'll see if I can't dial up our Stage 2 winner.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. We saw Chris Johnson now won the race off pit road. Brandon Pasalakwa misses his box just by a hair, and that makes him lose a spot to Kenny Powell. Of course, I do believe Big Al is standing by with Chris Johnson, our Stage 2 winner.
Hey, Chris Johnson, Big Al up in the booth. You got me?
Roger.
Hey, congratulations, sir, for your Stage 2 win. How does that feel?
Oh, it feels great. You know, the past 2 or 3 races haven't turned out so good. So stage win is good in my book.
And you know, that stage win did not come with its own set of unique challenges, as you actually got a little bit of sideways there, like the country song says, and then battled back through adversity to actually even catch your G&G teammate and pull that thing off there for the win. So you got to be feeling pretty good about that, right?
Oh yeah, you know, Brandon and Kenny are pretty fast. You know, I might have pushed it a little bit too hard that couple laps, but you know, I get calmed down and get it back straight, and I was able to pull it off.
Yeah, I think we're also saying that Chris Johnson's pretty fast as well. So yeah, Brandon's fast and Kenny's fast, but you're fast as well too, sir. So don't take that away from yourself.
Yeah, you know, it's special thanks to Brian Johnson, my brother. You know, I was kind of lost going into this race. You know, he schooled me yesterday how to run this track and, you know, which setup to run. And he made something a little bit special for me. And, you know, it stinks that he got taken out so early, but, you know, at least I'm up here.
Yeah, definitely. So be on you to represent, at least for the Johnson brothers. So congratulations for your stage 2 win. Good luck for the rest of this thing. Hey, you care to share what your strategy is going to be as far as green flag pit stops?
Well, Al, I hope to finish this race. That's all.
Okay, well that's enough. Before we let you go, who you shouting out, boss?
Of course, y'all up in the booth, Southern Spiral Pipe, and Team G&G, Butt Kicker, and yeah, that's it.
Roger that. Good luck to you, and hopefully we'll see you at the end of this thing.
Thank you, sir.
Alrighty, that was Chris Johnson, our stage 2 winner, as he, of course, is going to be leading us to green for the final stage. Now, this is when our favorite part comes out, Big Al. Green flag pit stop strategy. When are you coming down?
I'm staying out. I mean, that's going to be the key. I do believe it's going to be a late race caution, so keeping that in mind, I mean, I just think right now you're just trying to get your space and distance and stay away from everybody. That will be my plan.
Yeah, of course, and of course, because tire wear is so important at this racetrack, I think guys will go a little bit longer, maybe 5 laps. Overcut possibly could be, you know, the kind of the strategy to take. We'll have to wait and see, though. I'm assuming, thinking about 120 is about when we're going to start to see green flag pit stops. Possibly. It's going to be around that time. I mean, I'm not quite sure when the majority of guys are going to come down, but I think that could be around when we'll start to see the thoughts really start to drill into these guys' heads, what to do here. Pace car lights are out. We're getting ready to see it go down pit road as we get ready to start stage number 3. Going to be exciting, though. I think this is when the race truly starts. Do we see guys taking it easy? Do we see them really hurting their tires? I'm very curious to see what is going to be the strategy as the pace car takes the left turn down pit road. Chris Johnson going to be getting the green flag right now, and
he wasted no time putting that Ford Mustang in the win, Brian. Here comes Brandon Pasalacqua, though. He also got a good run. Now, remember, Brandon doesn't get started off as fast as he would like. His car is not good in the short run. That's something that he is definitely going to have to be paying attention to as well, because he is going to be regretting any semblance of a late race caution.
100%, but I think that Chris Johnson has probably maybe even a better long run than Brandon Pasalacqua. I just don't think we saw that in the first stage. We definitely saw it in stage number 2, and I love that he had that to say about how he had that issue, ran a little bit too hard, calmed down, got himself focused up, and was able to still have the car to drive back up there to Pasalacqua. I mean, I think we could see that 99 really put something in good tonight. We'll have to wait and see, though. He's got a whole host of hungry drivers that have moved their way through this field all night long. I mean, you got Jose Acosta, Greg Wachinski, Scott Naslin, who have all worked their way up into the higher parts of this field.
Yeah, I mean, and kudos to those guys for making it this far, because now we're getting down to the fun part. Looks like everybody's kind of mixing it up a little bit there.
Definitely are. You see Shane Parrish trying to hold off Randy Mullins, Ryan Strunk, and Greg Carr as they verge on going 3 wide. But Parrish definitely, I don't think he wants to go 3 wide. Every time he sees like something that's about to break off to where 3 wide could be a potential, I think that he just backs out of it. He's like, I don't want no parts of 3 wide.
You know what's cool is that Darren and Randy, Darren and Randy are running so close together.
Yeah, it definitely is. We've definitely seen those guys race each other quite a bit, and we've seen races to where Randy will be the stronger, family member, I should say, and Darren will be the stronger in the next race. So I mean, it's hard to tell who's going to be able to bring it in what week.
Absolutely, we're halfway through this thing. Just 83 laps to go before we get this in the books.
Of course, Darren Mullins making some big moves right now as he moves up into 6th place, is able to get around Scott Naslin. Oh, Ryan Strunk gets into the rear end of the 22 a little bit there. I think the give and take is starting to go away here. Al Kozlowski now on the inside of David Miller. Going to be trying to take over, I do believe, that 11th position. Not quite able to get there, though. Oh, I'm sorry, he did get by David Miller. Has not gotten by J.C. Evans. Of course, that's a driver we haven't talked a whole lot about here in the 9. Very similar paint schemes kind of there. So we see the 9 tries to get underneath Naslin. Naslin's starting to move back the wrong way. I'm wondering if he's maybe doing this to save tire. I think a lot of these guys have that on their minds right now. Just save tire. Especially if you do that long cut strategy we were talking about before, Big Al. If you wait, 5 extra or even 10 extra laps when everybody else is pitted, you're going to have newer tires later, and that'll be the time you really drive it hard. But Brandon Pasalacqua right now in the lead. He's got Kenny Powell right there behind him in 2nd place. And now, of course, just to update when it comes to Kenny Powell, he talked about how he's got to finish 5th in both stages and 5th in the race. Well, he has done better than that in both stages. He's running 2nd right now. I think he's probably feeling a little bit more comfortable. We'll have to wait and see, though, because you saw how close he got to the back bumper of the 6 of Pasalacqua. What a run so far for Passalacqua, though. Of course, won stage number 1. Darren Mullins, though, huge. He has been the biggest mover of this stage, I'd say, just considering he is now up into second place and is verging on taking the lead.
Go, Darren, go. He is definitely doing his best, man. He's a solid run for him. Started all the way back in 14th. Now he's battling for the lead, so he's got to be definitely feeling pretty good about his performance here tonight, Brian.
Yeah, he definitely does have to be feeling really, really good about it. I mean, almost, we saw Randy Mullins was up here duking it out for the lead a little bit earlier as well. But now Darren, the father of the 54, now up here as well trying to take that lead away, as we see Randy Mullins also trying to see if he can't join his dad, as he is, I do believe, in the top 5 at the moment. Just got by Chris Johnson.
And even Derek Jacobs, the other teammate of the Bull Ring guys, he is still on the lead lap, so he's got to be feeling pretty good about that as well, as he is showing tremendous promise and improvement every race out here, Brian.
100%. He definitely has been, and he's been running some good laps. I mean, he's definitely been putting in the work. That's for sure. One little story, though. Go ahead.
And just like that, Aaron Mullins is now your race leader. Brandon Passalacqua all the way back to 3rd. Ryan Strunk claims P2. Kenny Powell now is going to slip by Brandon as Brandon gracefully bows down, I guess is the only way to say that. Ryan Strunk going to be trying to do everything he can to contest the lead from Darren Mullins. These two going to be side by side here. And I think Ryan Strunk's going to push the issue. So don't expect him to just kind of lay over, Brian. I think he's really going to hammer down.
Yeah, I think he wants to see his name in lights out there. He wants to see that lap led. I don't think he's gotten it quite yet here tonight, but he's gotten close, and now I do believe he will get that lap led as he's going to slide down in front of Darren Mullins. Of course, these guys are 15 laps into this run right now, so this stage is definitely flying right on by. A little bit of contact with the wall there from J.C. Evans.
And he has got to be feeling pretty good about the performance that he's got going on here.
And look at the different lines that these guys are running. I mean, you see Strunk running up on the top line. You see Mullins running in the middle. I mean, it's like the Blue Angels. The way these guys are kind of all running different lines. J.C. Evans, though, one of the big movers, as he drives around the top side of Brandon Passalacqua. He's going to take over 5th place. I think that's the highest he's been tonight so far.
Don't worry about Brandon. I think Brandon's he's doing what he needs to do. He knows what pace he needs to run. So still a long way to go with 73 laps left in this thing. Ryan Strunk, though, starting to develop his lead a little bit as Kenny Powell's just tucked right in there behind him, content to be in second. Powell's having a tremendous night, doing everything that he needs to do in order to be a contender here and possibly even solidify this championship.
Yeah, I think that's the only thing he really cares about. He doesn't care if he finishes in second place. I mean, he doesn't need to win. As we see Chris Johnson get a little bit loose on the top side, it's Al Kozlowski side by side with him as he is battling for that 8th place position. Looks like Kozlowski is going to take it away. Man, the battling has not calmed down in the slightest here.
Kenny Powell challenging Ryan Strunk for the lead. Powell now going to get by on the inside. This is his first time getting in front, and I do believe he will be the 5th different race leader we've had thus far.
And you remember what Passalacqua said? He thought Kenny Powell had a better long run than him. So is this could Kenny Powell get this lead and keep it? We're going to have to wait and see. Still a ton of racing left to go here. We're barely... of course, we have just over, I do believe, or we are just over 100 laps into this race. Hopefully, it's so hard to lead, though, Big Al. And we talked about that so many times, about when you're in that lead, you have to set the pace. And when you're behind someone, it's so easier to save tires because you could watch what they're doing, kind of match what they're doing, maybe back it off a little bit, let the draft kind of pull you along. But Powell, he doesn't have that as an aid. He doesn't have kind of anybody to kind of judge himself off of when he's in the lead.
But what he does have, he's got a lot of laps turned this week under A open conditions here, doing just what he's doing right now. So he doesn't. I mean, he's got an internal clock. He knows about how fast he needs to run in order to conserve and save. But right behind him, though, these guys getting a little bit racy back there. That's going to be Darren Mullins, Randy Mullins, and Ryan Strunk.
And look at J.C. Evans all the way down to the bottom. He's been making some really aggressive moves. He gets close to the 54. Pasalacqua had the door open to go through line, decided against it.
Probably a good choice.
I think we might see something break off here in a second. These guys are racing really, really hard at the moment. I saw Darren Mullen get really loose in those last set of corners. As you see Ryan Strunk almost bump drafting the 64 into the corner. Giving a little bit of that, trademark from Big Al, the tush push.
99%.
So I'd always say 100%. Now you're going to start saying 99%.
Well, I mean, yeah, 98%. I think I'll just have varying degrees of percentages.
%, but look at those guys. Look at them double file, though. I mean, these guys are racing so hard. You love to see it. Fantastic show that these guys are putting on here tonight. We do want to shout out all the people out there that are tuning in, whether you're supporting your family member out here on the racetrack. Make sure you give us a like and subscribe, maybe even comment and tell us who is your, the guy you're rooting for. As we see Greg Wachinski getting really close to Ryan Strunk there. Wachinski's been one to watch here. I think he's got a good long run pace as well.
Yeah, and I think Strunk is actually descending. I think he's on his way backwards through the field right now.
Yeah, I think you might be onto something there. As the 54 and the 64 lined up. Randy Mullins trying to get by his father. Darren gets into the wall just a hair. As Brandon Pasalacqua starting to make his presence known once again in the top 5.
Yeah, because now he is up to operating temperature, Brian, and he's going to be in search of that clean air. And I think he also understands that you can't let power run away. You got to close that gap, and the quicker the better.
Greg Wachinski now up to second place as they battle side by side for third. Pasalacqua trying to take it away from him. Now, you don't want to let Kenny Powell get away. That is 100% fact. Can Greg Wachinski come up here and possibly challenge for the lead? Definitely have to wait and see. David Miller back up into the top 5. I know he started, I do believe, on the outside pole. Haven't seen him up in the top 5 a whole lot here tonight, but he is definitely back in contention.
Speaking of contention, Ryan Strunk is falling all the way back to 11th place.
And that is a long fall. You called it. Ryan Strunk all the way back now. And losing spots left and right as we see, I do believe. Saucier starting to come up there as well. Haven't seen a whole lot of that driver here tonight. Of course, that is the 90 on your screen, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, he is actually marked as the 3 car on iRacing. Kenny Powell, though, right now in the lead, 106 laps into this race. I told you, I think 120 is when these guys are going to start thinking about pitting. Looking at the stint right now, these guys are almost 30 laps into this run.
Wow. I hate to keep saying this, but Ryan Strunk continues his fall from grace.
Unfortunately, I think he just burned his stuff up.
An interesting, great car who started this race on the pole is all the way back there in 14th place as well.
Yep, and He definitely is. And speaking of Ryan Strunk, though, he's right in front of Greg Carr at the moment as they almost go 3 wide. I think they might. See Shane Parrish trying to get underneath the 3 of Saucier. I think he's going to get there.
Saucier.
Is it Saucier?
Yes.
You pulling my chain, ain't you?
No, sir, I'm not.
Well, Saucier then. Isn't that Saucier? Isn't that like a chef? I think it has something to do with cooking, right? Saucier? Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a wine pair.
Chris Johnson has made his presence known once again here as he is now on the inside of Darren Mullins, going to be trying to fight his way back up into the top 5. Of course, Chris Johnson had some really good long run pace. I would not be surprised to see him start to really show up. Oh, a little bit of touch on the apron there from the 99. And he kicked sideways. I think that might be a lot of what happened in that in stage number 2. We saw after that happened, though, he just all of a sudden hit the go button and was flying to the front.
Yeah, he activated Hulk mode, and I think that's what he just did right there, too.
110 laps into the event right now. And still battling continues. We have not seen any of these guys, I'd say, really get comfortable. Everybody's been having to battle the entire race. I mean, a lot of times when we come to, a lot of racetracks, Big Al, they all spread out, and sometimes, we don't see a whole lot of battling. But this has not been the case here tonight. These guys have been battling all night long. Tell you what, these guys have got to be getting a little bit wore out, wouldn't you say?
97%.
Kenny Powell, still your leader, but for how long? As he gets a little bit tight on the exit of turn 2, Greg Wychinski starting to draft his way up. Of course, Pasalakwa also right there in tow. They have about a little over a second on David Miller, who's in 4th place. But definitely, I'd say the class of the fields here so far tonight have been Kenny Powell, Brandon Pasalakwa, and Chris Johnson. I don't think Johnson's out of it just yet.
No, and interesting to note, Brian, also that if a caution should come out now, we'd actually be good to go to the end of this thing.
That is a very good point. Of course, I do believe the fuel window, 58 laps. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So a lot of guys probably starting to have those thoughts about pitting, but like you said, go a little bit long.
Oh, I think you got to go a lot a bit longer, especially if you're screaming for tires now. You got to have the discipline where you got to stay out because it's going to be, it's only going to get worse.
100%. 36 laps into this stint now.
I wouldn't be surprised if we did see some guys that actually go ahead and submit and do this in the form of 2 stops as opposed to 1.
Yeah, definitely could be the strategy here. Greg Wychinski moving up to the top, maybe thinking about challenging for the lead. But of course, as I mentioned, about 37 laps into this run here. I mean, we have, I do believe, almost 50 to go. So, yeah, I could see, I said 120 earlier. I think a lot of these guys are probably going to pit maybe even at 125, 130. But definitely the battling for the top 3. These guys are not just sitting down and just trying to pull away. They are battling. That's one thing you can always expect to see here in the ISCA is Chris Johnson has taken a spot from David Miller, and Jose Acosta also able to get around him. Surprised, or not really that surprised, but I thought David Miller would have had a lot more speed here tonight. But I've definitely been very impressed with Jose Acosta, though. I mean, we haven't talked a whole lot about him, but he's always been moving forward. And with Jose Acosta, just like with Al Keselowski, if we're not talking about him, that's pretty much a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Jose's out there doing what he's got to do. He's got a good head on his shoulders. He's running a good, solid race. He's being consistent. And I think if he keeps doing what he's doing, man, you definitely might be talking about him a little bit later on in this contest.
100%. Now we have 50 laps to go. Of course, the fuel window is 58, so these guys are well into that fuel window. Greg Carr, our pole sitter, been making some inroads here back up into the top 10 as he is now past, I do believe, Shane Parrish. Now going to be working on J.C. Evans. Looks like Carr, looks like J.C. Evans touching the apron a little bit there on the front stretch. That's the one thing about that apron down there on the front stretch. You can go down there, but you can't half go down there. Like, you can't dip 2 tires down there. Otherwise, you're going to get really, really loose. So if you do decide to go down there on the front stretch, you have to fully commit.
Green flag racing continues. That is the story of the night here. 48 laps to go in this contest. We've had about 6 different leaders, 2 different stage winners.
Yeah, definitely been a good day for a lot of drivers out there.
Yeah, stage 3 is very well underway. Probably within 10 laps of actually having green flag pit stops. This is the longest run these guys have actually had on their equipment thus far tonight.
100%. 43 laps into this run right now. Definitely putting these tires through the paces. These guys definitely have learned a whole lot. You do see also, Big Al, that orange hue in the background. That means the sun is going down. And you know what that means. We're going to be grooving. When the sun goes down.
Stops have officially begun.
And who went down there? It would be Saucier.
Yeah, it would be Saucier.
See him bringing it down. Let's see how good he's able to get into his box here. He slid through it. He's going to have to kick it in reverse. That's going to cost some precious time on pit road. Brandon Pastelacqua has gotten by Greg Wachinski. And look at this. We saw almost 2 seconds in between the top 3 and Chris Johnson. Johnson has caught them now once again along with Jose Acosta. This race has become a whole lot more interesting as the top 6 are very close to one another, all within a second.
So Johnson should be pitting now because this is where his car is the fastest. And look at that pit road getting ready to get really, really busy.
There goes Pastelacqua along with Greg Wachinski, and I do believe David Miller all bringing it down at the same time here.
Ron Strunk also down pit road.
But Kenny Powell still out there on the racetrack, now being chased by his G&G teammate Chris Johnson. And look at the run that Johnson's getting here. Of course, he has a long bit of distance there that he can draft up. Still anybody's guess on who's going to win this thing, but I think that these guys are making the right decision to stay out a little bit longer, but I think it's only a matter of time. I think Kenny Powell's going to be bringing it down pit road any time now.
Well, I think Johnson's got to understand that his car is freaky fast, and so that's when I think he's going to want to come out. Now, Pastelacqua, I don't. He's going to have a hard time if a late race caution does come out.
Here we go, Kenny Powell. Oh! He spins it. Is he saving? He's going to lose a lot of time here. Hopefully he didn't get an unsafe pit entry or a speeding penalty there, Big Al. Do you see how sideways the 24 was?
J.C. Evans actually the recipient of a black flag.
That is unfortunate. And we talk about that so much, about how important pit road can be. I mean, you could have such a phenomenal race, but as soon as green flag pit stops come up, it changes absolutely everything.
Absolutely.
There goes Jose Acosta, also bringing it down pit road along with Scott Naslin. And that is going to leave Shane Parrish as the leader. We believe that might be his first lap sled here this week. See if he brings it down pit road. But I think we've had, for the most part, almost everybody down pit road except for the top, I do believe, 5. Or top
Randy,
2.
Well, we got Derek Jacobs, Randy Mullins, and Shane Parrish that are yet to pit.
Here comes Shane Parrish now down pit road, and that's going to give Randy Mullins the lead. Derek Jacobs is going to be moving all the way up to 3rd at the moment. Jose Acosta coming off pit road. He gets passed by Brandon Pasalacqua, Greg Wachinski, and David Miller. Of course, Jose Acosta will have a little bit newer tires than these guys. But here comes Chris Johnson with a huge run of speed to the inside of the 42.
And I think you're watching out for the 99.
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely watching out for that 99. He's shown such significant speed here tonight. But also look at who's desperate. 24, Kenny Powell. Had an issue onto pit road. Did not get a penalty, but you got to think that that heart rate for that 24 is probably pretty high right now, and the desperation is starting to kick in. Look at him go. On the bottom, he's definitely going to be putting it. He's going to be putting those tires to the grindstone, right?
Yeah, he looks like he shook it off, man. He looks like he's actually out there doing exactly what he needs to do. And that's what I want. You want your driver to have a short memory. You know, that's the key thing. You want him to be able to shake it off and get back out there and keep going. So, Powell doing just that.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't think he lost as near as much time as he could have there. I think that could have been a whole lot worse than it was. He's now, I think, at the moment, he is the second man a lap down. Jose Acosta, of course, would be the lucky dog, but of course Kenny Powell is on his march to try to get up there and possibly take that away from him. Of course, Brandon Pasalacqua, I think once Randy Mullins and Derek Jacobs pits, will be the leader. Greg Wachinski, of course, not that far back from Pasalacqua, and David Miller, of course, right there as well. So anything could happen at the moment as Jose Acosta actually gets his lap back. We talk about, potential for a yellow flag. I think now the potential for that is probably higher than it has ever been.
And I think everybody out there is really nervous. I mean, because, you'll get the wave around, but it's just a very precarious situation that we got going on here. The 27, Derek Jacobs, finds his way down pit road.
You see the 3 of Chris Saucier are able to get by Randy Mullins there, but he's going to move his way up into 8th place.
And then there was 1.
And I feel like this is a Hail Mary kind of shot here from the 54. Wouldn't you say? I think that he wants a caution at this moment. I think that he's like, I'm going to stay out as long as I possibly can here, and if a caution comes out, I'm going to be looking golden.
But I'm not really mad at him.
Randy Mullins right now on 56-lap old tires. He's reaching the end of the fuel window here.
Yeah, he is actually getting right down there to the fume side of things.
We haven't seen anybody all night run this long. So he's definitely going to be pushing what is possible right now.
And we've seen this before, though, from Randy Mullins as well. So,
yeah, I don't blame him. I mean, just Hail Mary move. I mean, that's what racing's all about. You got to try something.
That's why they call them strategies.
I mean, winners make moves. Winners take risks, right?
Yep.
Brandon Pasalacqua right now in the best spot I think he has been in all night. Of course, he won stage 1, was pulling away by quite a large margin. He's definitely going to be trying to see if he can't do the same here now that he's not having to fight with anybody. I think that's going to be the huge advantage that Pasalacqua was going to have right now. He mentioned how important clean air was in stage number 1. Jose Acosta has caught up to Greg Wyszynski. We're getting ready to see a battle for, I do believe, third place at the moment. But what I do believe will actually be second on the actual racetrack once Randy Mullins pits.
Yeah, and right now he is 59 laps in, and he's still rolling.
I think that's the key. He's rolling. I think he's probably clutching it and trying to do everything he can to save some gas. Of course, there is no hope for him to make it to the end of this race on the amount of fuel allotted in that tank. But we do have, I do believe, 30 to go.
He'll be coming down in the next 2 laps, definitely. Speaking of
here
which,
he comes, yeah.
Now.
And that will put Brandon Pasalakwa back into the lead. Of course, not far back behind him is Greg Wyszynski, Jose Acosta, and David Miller. A little bit further back is Kenny Powell. Powell definitely, he's got about 2 seconds to get up there to those guys that are in the top 4. But if I was Kenny Powell, I would be kind of chilling right now. I'd be like, Chris, just stay behind me, man. Let's just chill. Save our tires. I need to win this championship. I'm the only one that has a hope of winning it. Is that a point, Big Al, to where you do have the team orders?
Yeah, absolutely. Because, the fact that we're doing this thing as teams now, a championship for your team is going to be greater than any individual accomplishment that you're going to make. So, yeah, I definitely think the G&G guys at this point, you're looking after your captain.
Yeah, I mean, if you're the only one, Kenny Powell's the only one that has the opportunity to possibly take the championship away from Josh Schaffner. But that's another thing. I mean, Josh Schaffner is a teammate as well to Chris Johnson. So, I mean, it's – but Kenny Powell's the one that's here. So, it's like if Powell's in your ear saying, hey, man, just let me – now if Schaffner was here, it might be a whole different story.
I mean, you got to dance with the one that brought you.
That's right. You're right about that. Brandon Pasalakwa, though, dancing, I'd say, better than everybody right now, as he's got about 7/10 on Jose Acosta. But I think Jose is a-coming. He was able to get around Greg Wyszynski. I think Jose was the dark horse tonight, Big Al. I don't think that anybody really expected him to be this strong this week, and he's definitely showing out. I mean, Abner Acosta, of course, has been racing a lot of these Thursday races. Do not see him here tonight. So I think Jose's got the mantle right now. I think that Abner might have gave him a little bit of that Abner magic,
Jose's a solid contender. It takes a lot to come here, man, and be consistent. I mean, even looking at Josh Schaffner, who's currently in the championship leader, I mean, he still only has, I believe, 3 wins. So it takes a lot to come out here with this caliber of competition, Brian, and put up multiple wins. That's just not an easy feat.
Yeah, it definitely is not an easy feat. We see Jose quickly closing in on Pasalakwa as we're verging on, I do believe, 25 laps to go here. And Jose Acosta looking like he is in a good position to possibly steal one. I shouldn't say steal one, because he's earned it. I mean, he, of course, was not, really in the running very much in stage number 1 or 2. But this is the stage that matters. I mean, we always talk about how the conditions of the racetrack change as the run goes on. Well, I think Jose had the best car for what's going on right now when it comes to conditions. Oh, really close racing between him and Pasalakwa. It looks like Acosta does get it done. Nothing runs like a John Deere, a deer, right?
Yep, Jose going to make the 7th different leader that we had here thus far tonight. And I know he wants to be the last leader. I mean, right now he's got himself put in a pretty good situation with 24 laps to be 23 at the line.
Yeah, he's looking really good right now. I think he's in prime position. He showed that he does have significant long-run pace here, and now he's got the clean air. Of course, he hasn't been in the clean air very much tonight. I'm curious how that's going to affect the handling of the race car. We've seen with this next gen that some cars handle better in dirty air.
Yeah, and you still got to watch that 99. Ryan Strunk, big problems there as he was getting into it with Corey Saucier. Those two just had a little bit of a 3-wide situation, but it looks like it's got itself sorted out. I just get excited.
100%. Understand. I mean, anytime a caution could break out, I mean, with a 3-wide scenario like that, I mean, that could have spelled disaster for a man like Jose Acosta, but that could be just what Kenny Powell needs.
And I'm still saying watch out for the 99 too, because I mean he's put on some rocket britches here towards the end of the stage.
He definitely has. He's been really, really quick towards the end of the runs. We'll have to wait and see how that kind of works out, though. As we're verging on, I do believe, 20 laps to go. Taking a look at lap times on the board right now. We saw Jose Acosta, and I even said this about how Acosta might not favor the clean air. Well, last time by, he was actually a little over a tenth slower than Brandon Pasalakwa. So, I mean, I don't know. There might be something to that. And looking throughout the rest of the field here, you're right to talk about Chris Johnson. Because, I mean, look at his lap times right now. 31.151. That was one of the fastest laps on the racetrack last time by.
Don't tell him I told you.
Yeah, we don't want him to get a big head, right? And there goes Greg Wyszynski and David Miller fighting it out for third. It looks like Miller does get in front of Greg Wyszynski. Have to see how long this lasts here.
This is going to be a pretty long run as well, Brian.
It does appear to be so.
This run, the 54 really giving a bumper to the 77 of Strunk. But this run right here is going to be longer. It'll be the second longest run of the night. Longer than both of the stages, but short only to that green flag pit stop.
100%. And looking at a lot of these guys, majority are around 25 laps into this run already, and they still have 17 laps to go. So still a long way to go. These guys are going to end up having to do about a 40-lap run. And like you said, that's longer than the stages. We see Derek Jacobs starting to blink a little bit there. Some sparks coming off the back of that race car. As you mentioned, Randy Mullins here. He's going to be trying to work to see if he can't get by Al Kozlowski. Pasalakwa back up to the rear end of Jose Acosta. Of course, Acosta has about 3 laps newer tires than Pasalakwa. That is definitely an important distinction. As Greg Wyszynski goes back to the inside of David Miller.
And we know how fast Brandon is. I mean, Pasalakwa definitely has a rocket ship, and he has demonstrated that here tonight all too well. So, yeah, Jose definitely probably feeling a little bit uneasy having the 6 behind him. But, I mean, honestly, I think this is a little bit inevitable.
And it's starting to heat up a little bit here as well. 3rd, 4th, 5th. Of course, Greg Wyszynski and David Miller have been fighting each other quite hard at the moment. And that has allowed Kenny Powell and Chris Johnson to jump up here and be right here in the mix.
Oh, they didn't allow them. There was nothing they could do about it.
Yeah, because I do believe Kenny Powell, one of the guys that waited a little bit longer to pit.
Yeah, now both Johnson and Powell should actually slip by these two guys. And then I'm going to say at that point, man, we're just watching both the lap counter and the time tick away.
100%. I mean, Powell, of course, going to be wanting to see if he can get as close as he can to the front. Now, I think at the moment, if what he told me before this race is true, he finished in the top 5 in both stages and did better than that. I mean, he said that I need to finish 5th in both stages and finish 5th in the race. Well, he finished better than that in those stages, and he's in 4th right now. So if he stays where he's at right now, he's your champion. And talking to Kenny before the race, though, Big Al, he was not confident. He said that this is not a done deal. He says that he needs to put together a strong race. And, oh, man, Chris Johnson almost ruined this race just now.
Yeah, Chris Johnson with the sacrifice right there. He sacrificed his own body for the savior of his 24 teammate.
He definitely did, because, I mean, he had such a run, and if he hadn't have checked up like he did, he would have smashed into the 24. That would have been a bad deal right there, and I think that there would have been some harsh words said between the two after this race.
I don't know, man. I think I'd have just drifted them up into him just to see what happened.
Well, that's why you're up here and not down there, right?
I'm just saying. I mean, it'll buff out.
It'll buff out. It'll be fine.
Green flag racing continues. 12 laps to go. Will be 11 at the line. 11 laps to go. Jose Acosta still your leader. Brandon Pasalacqua slowly reeling in Jose.
What's interesting about that, though, Big Al, last couple laps, Jose's actually been faster than Pasalacqua. I think that maybe Jose was backing Pasalacqua up a little bit. Maybe trying to control the pace. You know what I mean? Almost like taking a page out of what we see from Schaffner. Just maintaining a gap. You know what I mean?
No, you don't want to do that. Not with the likes of Powell and Johnson back there behind you. You at this point of the game, I think you're just trying to keep keep your foot in it and keep it going. 10 laps to go here before this one's in the books. That's just my opinion, though. That's just my little 2-cent commentary.
Well, you know what I mean. We've seen it time and time again, to where those guys that usually win this race, they manage that gap, and I think that maybe Jose's learned a thing or two from some of those guys, possibly, as we see Chris Johnson, the G&G teammates battling each other for what is fifth. I mean, you could be right. I think that maybe he is pushing it and just trying to get as much as he can out of the race car. Or maybe it even could be that he wasn't used to the clean air and had to acclimate himself. Because, I mean, look, he's pulling away from Pasalacqua at the moment. Because, I mean, a lot of people, I think, in our audience, Big Al, probably don't realize the difference in clean versus dirty air. I mean, it is night and day, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, absolutely. But I think they understand clean air.
No, I mean, I'm sure they understand the concept, but actually be behind the race car, be behind the steering wheel and feeling the difference. Oh, contact between the 5 and the 99.
Oh! The 77 caution is going to come out. Brandon.
Oh, my goodness.
Brian Strunk sideways. Now, this is going to change everything. All bets are off right now, as we will be 4 to go by the time we go green.
This is definitely going to change every single thing. It is not going to be about saving anymore. It's going to be about grabbing some tires and pressing that loud pedal. Let's see what happened here with the 77.
Yeah, Shane Parrish definitely in the 66 picking up that meatball flag.
So we look back in the go-back machine, and we see contact, I believe, between the 66 and the 77 possibly. You see the 66 into the outside wall, hard hit, and I think a little bit of net code, Big Al.
Yeah, I definitely think the 77 was just trying to save himself. But look, there's not a single soul that stays out. We're busier on pit road than we've been all night, Brian. Everybody coming down. The only cars that are staying out right now are lapped down, and that is the 27 and the 9. J.C. Evans and Shane Parrish, they will be offered the opportunity to come down the next time around.
Yeah, of course, Shane Parrish with a meatball flag, though, right?
Yes, the 66 of Shane Parrish, he is down pit road with a meatball flag.
Unfortunate, too. He's had a good run here so far tonight.
Derek Jacobs, your lucky dog, he's going to be the recipient of the lucky dog, and looks like J.C. Evans is
Look at that.
to get the wave around.
definitely good on that 9 car to be able to get that wave around to have their race still have a chance out here. Jose Acosta, of course, was able to win the race off pit road with David Miller coming out in 2nd place. Brandon Pasalacqua comes out 3rd. Kenny Powell 4th. Imagine this, Big Al. How anxious do you think Kenny Powell is right now? I think he's probably at 11 right now, just considering this is not, all the time he had worked to try to save tire and run his way to the front. None of that matters now. Now it's time to run as hard as you possibly can. Everybody's going to have their elbows out.
And he could potentially get wrecked, Brian, and finish in 14th or worse.
And that could give Josh Schaffner a championship.
I mean, I'm just saying because it's not over. And just because Powell is, close to the front doesn't mean that he's going to be up front. You know what I mean? This is going to be a shootout.
Yeah, this is gonna. I might not even be surprised if we see another caution.
And if we do, it would definitely bring out our green-white checker, of which we have one. But yeah, I definitely see it. I see it as a probability. You can't count anything like that out of probability right now, Brian. I mean, this is what we come here for.
Yeah, I mean, and think about this. I mean, we haven't had a caution all night long that was based off of a racing incident, and now we have. And usually when you see those cautions like that breaks up the rhythm, that's when everybody gets a little bit more buck wild, wouldn't you say?
Well, yeah, we know that, man, these cars are not even going to get up to operating temp. And you take a guy like Greg Carr, he had the fastest short lap. So, he's a good probability to be in this thing. You just never know at this point of the game.
There is no, I mean, you can't really bet on anybody in the top 10. You don't know who's going to be able to really get it done. Everybody on the short run has been really good. I do know, but Brandon Pasalacqua in stage number 1 said that he wasn't that good on the short run. So, all these guys that are maybe running those cars that are built for the long run, did they make adjustments? That's another question.
You don't have a choice if you want a chance. I mean, you're going to have to go ahead and this is go time. So, yeah, you're going to have to make adjustments. You almost need a qualifying setup in here on this thing.
Yeah, maybe bump up the tire pressures by 2 pounds on all sides and do what you can. Of course, you can't bump up the tape like you could in the Gen 6. Pace car lights are out, though, and we're going to have, I do believe, a 3-lap shootout.
And good on J.C. Evans as he gets his lap back.
This is going to be wild and crazy, ladies and gentlemen. I think we're getting ready to see some hurt feelings out there on the racetrack, and I can't wait.
I think these guys are going to play very nice together. I think they'll stay a lot like the formation that they have right there. I do believe it'll be nice spacing, probably 3 to 6 feet between each car, social distancing, if you will.
Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't see any masks on any race cars out there, Big Al. They got a social distance, huh? I don't know, Big Al. I hate to disagree with you, but we'll see how it goes.
They're gambling in Vegas.
100%. Whose horse is going to win here? As the green flag is out for what could be the final time, Jose Acosta with a tremendous restart.
Yeah, he definitely hit it on all cylinders, man, and he has got to bend these corners the right way in order to make it stick. I think we might be good here. Kenny Powell, though, getting a little bit racy with David Miller.
Who could blame him? I mean, who could blame him? He's got a championship on the line right now.
Wow, clean. This is looking pretty good here, Brian.
3 wide in the middle. I don't know. Okay, they make it through. That was close. Oh, there they go. 22, and Greg Wyszynski involved. Caution is out.
Ooh, that was a big owie.
That was a big accident. The 22 of Scott Naslin involved. I think he got out of it pretty well.
So, Corey Saucier in the 3 gets the meatball flag. Alexander Carr in the 18 gets the meatball flag. Mark Sanchez in the 29 meatball flag. And the 99 of Chris Johnson meatball flag.
Let's take a look back at this accident. The 22 just went a little too high. Got into the rear end of the 50 or 5. And everybody behind him creaming those race cars. Look at the 99. I mean, we had such high hopes for that 99.
Yep, that just increased Kenny Powell's stock tremendously.
Taking another look back at this here.
This is going to bring out that green-white checker, Brian, and we only get one.
And just look at the dominoes fall right here. The 5 of Greg Wachinski with the contact. And everybody just getting smashed up right behind him. I think you said that multiple people with meatball flags there, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, that's the 3 of Corey Saucier, the 18 of Alexander Carr, the 29 of Mark Sanchez, and the 99 of Chris Johnson, all recipients of meatball flags through that last contact.
And of course, they do find themselves now a lap down. But with that, let's take a brief step away and be right back with your green-white checkered here to determine who's going to win the Charles Shaw 250.
Hey everybody, my name is Warren Maddox. I am the president of Ultimate Experience Outdoors. Our mission, we are dedicated to taking veterans, first responders, youth, and Gold Star family members on outdoor excursions across the country.
Support for our mission has many forms, from camp cooks to the great storytellers, some buddies with the band, maybe you just want to build a campfire and sit around and listen. Nothing goes unnoticed.
Camaraderie is reborn. The acceptance among the men and women that took an oath.
Whether it was decades ago or recently renewed, but never forgotten.
If you feel like you could help us, please visit our website, www.uxonation.org.
There, you can register to hunt, sign up to sponsor an event, or even donate to us so we can continue to execute our mission.
Oh my gosh, I feel comfortable, bro. We get a hug. What have you done, Jim?
We need your help to hold the line once again.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, as we prepare ourselves for our first and only green-white checkered of the evening. Jose Acosta, in what I would say, the best position he could be in right now, Big Al. Now, I know when we were at Daytona just a few weeks ago, I wouldn't have said that, But
well, this is far from Daytona. And this is a track where you're not really dependent upon somebody getting right up on your bumper and pushing you to win. You don't actually have to block a whole lot of lines. If he gets a launch anywhere near like he did on that last restart, Brian, that he can actually control the narrative, I think he actually has a pretty good shot at winning this thing.
He definitely does. And, of course, we mentioned it before, Jose Acosta in the first 2 stages, was gradually and consistently running his way up through the field, and it's definitely paid off here at the end of this thing. He's shown he was able to get a really good pit stop. He had the right strategy to get to this position. I think even if the caution had not have come out, I think he still would have been likely one of probably the winner. But we'll have to see if he's able to keep it together here, because you got to keep in mind these guys already had a restart. Did we see any wheel spin at all, possibly?
Yeah, I don't think so. And they've all got literally 8 laps on their tires, so I don't think that'll be an issue. And the next flag is going to, once the green flag comes out, the very next flag will end the race. So, and that'll freeze the order. So worst case scenario, these guys stay in line, do their time. Best case scenario, they ball it up, and it still ends up where it's at.
I think the main thing that everybody out there is watching is the 24 of Kenny Powell. If they ball it up, is he involved? That could have huge implications here.
Yeah, but as long as this works out best for Powell, because no matter what, you know, if a caution comes out, he's going to preserve his spot. I think that's the best case scenario for him.
But then again, Big Al, think about this. We've seen those wrecks on the last white flag lap that don't bring a caution out. That could be a terrible, scenario. As the green flag is back out as we tackle green-white checkered number 1, and Jose Acosta with a pretty good start. David Miller with a good start. He's going to try to take away second away from the 6 of Brandon Pasalacqua, but Pasalacqua, I assume, is going to get a really good run on the exit of the corner here.
Yeah, Jose definitely got her dialed into the win. 2 to go.
Soon to be the white flag out waving as they duel for second place. Kenny Powell trying to make his position better.
How nervous you think Jose is now as he goes well below the apron?
I don't think he's nervous at all. I think that he sees these guys behind them battling. I think he's like, I have a good shot at winning this race. If those guys are battling.
Kenny Powell gets pressed up against the wall. Looks like David Miller goes down low. Powell gets shuffled out.
Oh, and Powell going to be put 3 wide as he is going to barely hang on. And I think he still finishes in 5th place. And that is going to wrap us up here. What a finish. Guy was able to finish it under green. Man, that was a great finish right there. Those guys were verging on 3 wide, battling neck and neck. But Jose Acosta able to bring home the win here, doing his brother Abner very, very proud. Of course, Brandon Pasalacqua going to finish in 2nd place. David Miller in 3rd. Scott Naslin picks up, I do believe, his first top 5 in the ISCA. 5th place, Kenny Powell, and I do believe new champion, Greg Carr, going to finish in 6th. Darren Mullins in 7th. Al Kozlowski in 8th. Ryan Strunk in 9th. And 10th, Randy Mullins.
Paul Osen is going to come in 11th. Derek Jacobs, 12th. J.C. Evans, 13th. Greg Wachinski, 14th. Alexander Carr, 15th. Corey Saucier, 16th. Chris Johnson, 17th. Mark Sanchez, 18th. Shane Parrish, 19th. Brian Johnson in 20th. And Dave Fuge Jr. rounds out this 21-car field.
And Jose Acosta's got to be feeling pretty dang good about this as we watch him burn it down. Let's take a moment and just be a little bit silent while we watch him burn it down, Big Al. What are you thinking? Then we'll take a commercial break.
Hey everybody, my name is Warren Maddox. I am the president of Ultimate Experience Outdoors. Our mission, we are dedicated to taking veterans, first responders, youth, and Gold Star family members on outdoor excursions across the country.
Support for our mission has many forms. From camp cooks to the great storytellers, some buddies with the band, maybe you just want to build a campfire and sit around and listen. Nothing goes unnoticed.
Camaraderie is reborn. The acceptance among the men and women that took an oath.
Whether it was decades ago or recently renewed, but never forgotten.
If you feel like you could help us, please visit our website, www.uxonation.org.
There, you can register to hunt, sign up to sponsor an event, or even donate to us so we can continue to execute our mission.
Oh my gosh, I'm so talking, bro. We get a hug, man. What have you done, Jim?
We need your help to hold the line once again.
All righty, we are back, ladies and gentlemen, and we have our winner here going to be joining us here tonight, Jose Acosta. What a fantastic performance from you there, man. I mean, you were kind of the long shot, the dark horse, if you will. I mean, did you feel that way, like you didn't have a chance to win, or were you already just knew that you were going to come out here and shock everybody?
I had no idea, man. This is actually the first race that I have raced here all week. I did practice like a couple laps with Kenny. We talked about a little bit about his new pedals and stuff like that. But that was it. That's why I did not even qualify today, because I didn't want to be in the way of nobody. And I really just wanted to like save tires and see where everybody was racing, and just finish the race. Basically, that was my strategy today, and end up in the victory lane somehow.
Yeah, I mean, and you did a fantastic job, especially for this being your first race this week. I mean, a lot of these other guys in the series have been practicing all week in the A Open, so I mean, just crazy to see that, man. How did you do that? I mean, just a lot of times, I mean, we only hear that from guys like Derek Heitman.
I don't know, man. Like again, I guess saving tire, I knew it was the key, and riding in the back, I guess that allows me to watch everybody what they were doing. And at one point, when I had my, when I was saving a lot of tires, like on lap 25, something like that, I started going through the high side, and I was making passes through the high side, and that's how I did it. I think. I mean, I did a couple passes through the high side, and that helped me a lot to actually get to the front.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like the high side was definitely an option here at Las Vegas. Do you feel like it maybe burned the tires up a little bit more, or I don't know, maybe not, just considering you seemed like you had a really good long run?
Again, I guess it's all on saving tires. I know in the front they were fighting a lot, so probably that's the reason why I catch up, and I had a lot of people trying to fight with me, and I just let them by, and I just didn't like that, and I think that was the key, the whole key, just saving tire, not race anybody, and I don't know, just be at the end.
You definitely did that, though. I mean, you started in 19th place. I mean, I would assume you were definitely the biggest mover here tonight. I mean, able to win the race. I mean, I know. How would you have felt if the race had gone green? Do you think that you still would have been able to win? Because you seemed like once you got in front of Pasalacqua, he started catching you back again, and maybe that was a factor of possibly the clean air, not being quite used to that. But then you started pulling away again. I mean, do you think you still would have won this race?
I think so, because once I passed him, I started saving tires again, and I think that's why actually he kind of catched up a little bit. So I was saving a little bit more, and just waiting for him to fall back a little bit. And then when I saw that, I kind of like sped up a little bit more. I'm like, okay, this is it. And then the yellow flag came out, so I was like, man, somebody pay that 77 car to spawn or something. and yeah, I think I would have got it if there was no yellow flag anyway at the end.
Now, I also saw how good you were when it came to pit road. I mean, you seemed like you just knew exactly what strategy to take. You haven't ran all week. How did you know that? Like, did you have anybody helping you out?
No, really. I even trying to race for my brother, but I guess he's been busy. I just watched a video before, like literally on practice right here before the race start. I just watched a video of how to get into the pit correctly, and that was it. I was like, okay, I know how to go to the pit, and I practiced that and practiced a little bit, and that was it, basically.
Well, it definitely seemed like it worked out for you. Of course, this does wrap up the Cup season points. Of course, I'm sure that's wasn't even really on your mind here. I mean, but a win in the Super Cup season. I mean, how big does that mean? How much does that mean to you? Do you think it's going to mean a lot of momentum going into Phoenix next week?
Definitely, man. Obviously, I feel excited, and this victory right here obviously bumped my my way of thinking, and I'm just looking forward to see what's gonna happen next race.
Now, Phoenix, is that a track that you feel like you're pretty good at?
So. Um, I mean, so. I mean, I'm not really that good on that track. I guess. I don't know. I don't think I can just jump in that track like I did here. But I can tell you this. I can say that the reason why I probably won this race is because of the setup too, and I'm using TWRS, man, and it was good. So if next week, is a good setup too, who knows? Maybe I do the same thing.
100%. We'll definitely shouting those guys out. Who else would you like to shout out as well after this big win here tonight in the Charles Shaw 250?
I'm gonna give a shout out to John Deere, ISI Elite Training, Pandereta Racing Team, and you guys in booth, and then Kenny for winning the championship. Right? I think he won the championship for this season. So congratulations to him, and a big shout out for him for running the league. It's not easy, man. I know it's not easy, so that's why I give a lot of prop to Kenny because it's a lot of hard work.
Yeah, it definitely is. I'll tell you what, I wouldn't want to have that job of running the league and having to deal with all you guys. I like to watch the race. I don't want to have to deal with the interpersonal issues between a guy like Jose Acosta,
All right, come on, man.
We love you, Jose. Congratulations on the win, though, for real. I mean, you are so impressive out there here tonight, and glad to see you back in victory lane.
All right, man. Thanks. Appreciate it.
All righty, that was Jose Acosta, our winner here tonight for the Charles Shaw 250. Next up, Big Al is standing by with Brandon Pasalacqua.
Brandon Pasalacqua, this is Big Al up in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got you. How are you?
Well, man, I tell you what, I'm doing pretty good. I tell you, you led 57 laps here, started this thing, I believe, in third place, and you were actually able to bring it home in second. You talked to Brian, I believe, after your stage 2 win, well, after your stage 1 win, and one of the things that you commented on was your short speed, the short run. You were worried about the short run.
Mm-hmm.
So as this thing was actually weighing and the green flag pit stops were done, when exactly did you start to get worried?
I was worried right off the gate with that last green flag pit stop. I was battling hard with Greg and Kenny there, and Chris and Jose started to catch up. So there was 5 of us underneath the blanket. I think Greg and I decided to pit first out of that group, so we would have the older tires when it came down to the end. So I didn't think my car had the speed for the short run, but I also didn't think I had the speed for the long run, and it has nothing to do with the setup. That's just driver error there. I found myself in a really good rhythm from lap 25 to 35. After that, people start to catch me. So I was worried the whole time, but everybody ran a great race, and it was a lot of fun for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I'm telling you, it looked amazing from where we were sitting at. But you got to feel pretty good actually coming out here the way you're actually starting this season off with the Super Cup Series, especially in slipping right in there to the G&G guys. Seems like you're a really good fit for that organization as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm super appreciative of the opportunity that those guys are giving me to join their team. It's just fun being able to run with a bunch of people that are passionate about the league and racing. So it's been a blast being with those guys the last few weeks. I was with those guys a little bit last summer, so I generally appreciate being with them. Wish we could have got the win today. I think we had a pretty good car, but like I said a few weeks ago, I mean, if you can get a podium spot in this league any night, you got to take it and be happy about it. And Jose ran a great race at the end. I mean, God, his speed was way better than mine, so I kind of let him go on that last stretch and thought he was going to run his tires off, but he actually made me run mine by backing up his entry and everything. So that was a great job by Jose, and give him all the credit in the world for running a great race.
Yeah, absolutely. But you take the momentum with you, if nothing else. So next week we're headed to Phoenix, which is a shorter track than this. Is actually one of the short tracks. What are you thinking about that one?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, I'm just glad I think we had a tremendous points day today between the two stages, first and second, and then finishing second in the race. That goes a long way in the Super Cup. So you got to be mindful of that and play the long game for sure. In terms of Phoenix, I've had good luck and bad luck there. I love racing there, but it's definitely, I think, a driver's track more so than it is anything else. So I'll probably be a little bit further back in the pack when it comes down to that, but it'll be fun, and I can't wait for it.
Well, Roger that here before we let you go. Who you shouting out tonight for your second place finish?
Yeah, first I got to apologize to Brian. I accidentally called you Al on the stage one interview.
Yeah, you
so
did.
That
was a compliment. You made his day. You made his day.
Well, I was going to say thank you, Al and Brian, and I got all messed up, so I apologize. But thank you to you guys in the booth. You guys do an excellent job. Congratulations to Jose for running a fantastic race, man. You deserve it. Kenny, congratulations on the championship. I know it wasn't easy, and sorry I kind of cut you off there at the end. And then the G&G boys, thanks for letting me ride with y'all. It's been a blast so far.
All right, bud. We can't wait to see what you do for us next week. Don't go out there and party too hard, man, and we'll see you here soon.
10-4. Thanks, guys.
Alrighty, that was Brandon Pasalacqua. Started in third, of course, won, I do believe, stage number 1, and finished second here tonight. Next up, we got a new man that we'll get to talk to in the booth, of course, on the podium. David Miller, third place finisher. Of course, you qualified outside pole. You seemed like you fell off a little bit on the longer run. What did your car need, you think?
Well, it was kind of up and down the whole time. I was trying to find ways to get around, kind of laying back a little bit as well for the longer runs. Sometimes I laid back too much and then sometimes I was up there and burning off my tires. So I was trying to find some grip, a little tight on the long run for me. But all in all, I think it was overall pretty well.
It definitely seemed like you had a pretty good car out there. Of course, you're able to finish in third. I mean, your first podium in the ISCA. How much does that mean to you with the level of talent that's in this series?
Oh, it's fantastic. All these guys here, and I think I run with some of them in the A Opens as well. It's a blast. I'm glad I got the opportunity from Kenny to race with these guys, and I look forward to it week in, week out now. And I'm hoping I can keep it clean out there and race fun and clean racing.
Well, you definitely seem like you got it in for sure. I mean, it's not easy to get a podium here, let alone a win. But you were able to get a third place finish. I mean, definitely got to be doing a lot for your confidence level as well to come out here and fight with these big boys out here. Do you think, we're probably going to see a win in the future? I mean, just considering you've only been with us for, I do believe, how many races now? 2?
Yep, that'd be 2. Yep.
In 2 races, you've already gotten a podium. I mean, definitely could see some big things on the horizon for you, David. How do you feel about Phoenix? We're coming up to that one next week. I know that one's quite a challenging track.
Yeah, it's definitely takes some talent, and patience on the track as well, because you can burn them up real quick, your right rear, and I mean it's just gonna go in there and put a little practice in here, and kind of get it down and run my race. Not burn the tires up and let it come to me. So.
Yeah, that's about all you can do for sure with Phoenix, especially that is a difficult track for sure. All about keeping your momentum, especially in those corners. The way that wall comes up very quick to meet you for sure, David. But great job on your third place finish here tonight. Who can we give a shout out to after this big accomplishment and your first, I do believe, podium in the ISCA?
I appreciate it. I just want to give a shout out to all the drivers out here as well. It's good racing so far in the first 2 races, and it's been a blast to race with them. Also, I want to give a shout out to Kenny for again allowing me to be in here and participate in this. Definitely appreciate that, and you guys in the booth. Also TWRS as well with the setups here. It's been a blast here this week. I took a break from oval here for a while and did some road, so I'm getting right back into it again here. So it's going to take me a little bit of time, but also want to give a shout out to Dark Tempest and then 13 Folds, my team. But yeah.
All right, David. Well, we definitely appreciate your time, and hopefully we'll get to see a lot more of you up here in the booth at a later date. Good luck to you in your future endeavors, and hopefully we'll see you at Phoenix.
All right. Thank you, Brian and Al. I appreciate it.
All righty. That was David Miller, our third place finisher. Next up, Big Al standing by. Look at that, Big Al. You always complain, Brian gets to interview the winner. Well, you get to interview the champion, Kenny Powell.
Kenny Powell. I mean, we calling you pedaling Kenny Powell tonight because you really bent a couple of strings going around there. Kind of got our heart rate going up a little bit. First off, congratulations to you for actually solidifying that season 1 championship. How does that feel, sir?
Man, it feels good. Little mixed feelings. This I hate that Josh wasn't here for sure. He probably would have wrapped it up if he was here. So, I hate winning it this way. But I've won another championship, and you have to put yourself in this situation, and I did. So I'm proud of that, and I did what I had to do to get it done. So it does feel good.
Yeah, I bet it does, man. And I tell you what, we're not even going to put anything in the notations there about the fact that Josh didn't show up to this race. I think we're just going to give you this championship, just clear out, fair and square. It's all yours. How you feel about that?
I love it. Excuse me. Yeah, I love it. It's I think everybody echoes it. I mean, this is a great league. We got great drivers in here, and I know hearing me say that is sounds very biased, but I truly believe it. We've got some great drivers, and it is tough to get top 10s in here, much less top 5s and top 3s. So, it is an accomplishment.
Yeah, the key is consistency, and you were the most consistent, and that's the reason why you are crowned a champion. This isn't your first championship, and as we are getting really into the thick of things there in the Super Cup, I noticed that you're sitting pretty high in those rankings. So what exactly are your long-term goals as well as your short-term goals here with the ISCA?
Steady as she goes. Hopefully I can stay consistent, in the top 5 or so. That is the goal, and that gets you to the end. Hopefully somewhere along the way I can win a race or two in there and win a stage or two to get me some points for the playoffs. So I didn't do as good with that last year, so I'm definitely a little more focused on getting some of those wins and stage points.
Now with the talent of the field growing as much as it is, I mean, that's got to make these championships feel a little bit more sweet, right?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. The strength of the field just keeps going up. It is an accomplishment to get to the end and be the champion for sure.
Well, hey, once again, congratulations, and you actually had to put yourself in a position through 3 stages in order to do it, and you really did. Look like it was going to get a little iffy there towards the end with the last couple of laps, but nonetheless, you prevailed. So, congratulations. Anything else you want to say there, Kenny, before we let you go?
I definitely, I had a good car. I made my mistake on pit road, which, cost me, glad it didn't cost me so much. But I definitely feel like I had a top 3 podium car for sure. And, I think the caution with 7 to go or something, trying to change that outcome. And then, the green, white checkers were hairy and, good, hard, clean, close racing. But, that last corner, I definitely had championship on the mind and backed out of that one. So, but great racing. Sorry I didn't finish with the podium or even a win, but the car was great. Thought I had a chance.
Yeah, and congratulations on the championship. Before we let you go, who you shouting out tonight?
Definitely, I got a bunch to shout out. TLC for sponsoring this season. They've been with us for 2-3 seasons now, so appreciate that tremendously. Butt Kicker is with us. Appreciate them. Of course, yourself, Big Al, and Brian in the booth. Couldn't do any of this without you guys. Let's see. The set, TWRS and Kenny Coppola put together one heck of a set again. Just killing it every week. And my guys, G&G, they, again, the practices and the camaraderie that we have while we're racing throughout the week is just great. It's tremendous. I love all those guys. And, a shout out to all the drivers in the league. Man, what a group. It's awesome.
Absolutely, sir. And don't go out there and party too hard, man. We got to get right back at it in a couple of days. But once again, congratulations for your season 1 championship, and good luck to you in the season 2 as well as the Super Cup.
All right. Thank you.
Alrighty, that was Kenny Powell, our champion, and great job to him for sure. I mean, when you said, Big Al, that he had to earn it, he 100% had to earn it. I mean, he outperformed what he needed to do, I think, in those stages. And you know, you could see that he did have a top 3 car. I definitely can echo those sentiments. You know, just fantastic performance there from him to earn that championship. Of course, he didn't win the race, but I mean, that's not what mattered. Man, championship is the guy that has bested everybody all season. You know, it's all about being consistent and just getting the points. And he was able to do that. Of course, like he said, he would love Josh to be here. But I don't take that anything away from Kenny Powell. Would you, Big Al? I mean, it's all. I mean, he earned it. He earned the heck out of this championship here tonight.
Absolutely, man. And yeah, can't take anything away from him for that.
100%. Well, we definitely appreciate everybody out there tuning in. Appreciate all the guys that competed here tonight as well. Of course, big congratulations to Jose Acosta bringing home the win. Of course, Brandon Pasalacqua with a stage 1 win, and also, you know, able to clobber and get second, or claw his way and get second place. Definitely a fantastic performance. We saw a lot of guys finish really well. I want to give a shout out, I do believe, to Scott Naslin. Also was able to finish, I do believe, 6th place, and I think that might be his highest finish in the ISCA thus far. We also saw some guys that had a little bit more tragedy happen to them, considering shouting out Brian Johnson. Also shout out to 99 of Chris Johnson, did a fantastic job here tonight. Thought he had the ability to possibly win this race. He looked like he definitely had the pace, but unfortunately had some issues there with the big accident that kind of, you know, happened there late in the run. But we definitely appreciate everybody out there tuning in. Make sure you give us a like, a subscribe, and tune in next time. Of course, we're going to be going live on Saturday around 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right back here at Las Vegas. Green flag is going to fly a little bit after 9:30, so make sure you tune in. We're going to have some maybe even more exciting action. I shouldn't say that. That's a little bit presumptuous of me, but I think that it will be. I mean, Saturday has been fantastic here as of late, of course, along with Thursday. I tell you, when you're watching these ISCA races, all you're going to do is find some excitement, that's for sure. But make sure you tune in. Of course, you want to keep following this Thursday series. We're going to be moving on to Season 2, as Big Al had mentioned, and then also continuing the Super Cup season on Thursday. So make sure you tune right on in. And we'll see you next time, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for watching.